Why is it going in between again and again? Internet is a problem. Before this also exists, right? Sorry about it. Hare Krishna. Survive. Right. Hare Krishna. Sorry about it. Sita Tapa Bhagavad Gita Sita Tapa Bhagavad Gita Sita Tapa Bhagavad Gita Sita Tapa Bhagavad Gita Evita Kamini Jagi Evita Kamini Jagi Evita Kamini Jagi Vikare Vino Kripana Durjana Vikare Vino Kripana Durjana Chapala Kalabha Lagi Chapala Kalabha Lagi Gachibowli Lilananda Abhay Charanara Vrinda Gachibowli Ekana Yogana Putra Parijana Ekana Yogana Putra Parijana Ekana Yogana Putra Parijana Ekana Yogana Putra Parijana Ekeke Shipara Iti Kamara Kala Chala Jivana Kalamana 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 Bhagavu Haripada Nite Bhagavu Haripada Bhagavu Haripada Nite Bhagavute Mana Lilananda Abhay Charanara Vrinda Bhagavute Mana Lilananda Abhay Charanara Vrinda Gavani Kitana Marana Vindana Gavani Kitana Marana पाद सेवन दास्य पाद सेवन दास्य पूजन सखी जन अपनी वेदना पूजन सखी जन अपनी वेदना गोविंद अभिलाष गोविंद अभिलाष ब्रजभूषे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणारा वृंद दुर्लभ माधव जन्म संगे दुर्लभ मानव जन्म संगे तारो भव सिंधु तारो भव सिंधु भजहुरे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणारा वृंद भजहुरे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणारा वृंद Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Bhagavate Mana, Lilananda, Apaya Saranada, Bhagavate Mana, Lilananda, Apaya Saranada, Durlabha Madhava, Janamata Sande, Durlabha Madhava, Karo Bhava, Sindhore, Karo Bhava, Sindhore, Bhagavate Mana, Lilananda, Apaya Saranada, Bhagavate Mana, Bhajavure Mana, Shri Abhaya Charanara Vrinda Ajahore Lilananda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vrinda Nitai Gaur Premananda Hare Krishna. So I humbly request Mataji sitting back to come in the front and give a way for others to come. So Lakshmi Mataji, you can come to the right side. And some can actually come in the front because many more are going to come and if they see everything is filled, they'll feel where to go. Yeah, you can all come in the front so that we can start filling. Yeah, is that okay? You can go all the way? Yes, sir. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Now I can see all. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Once again, this bhajan is one of the favorite bhajans of Srila Prabhupada. Many times he used to sing this bhajan because what a meaning to the bhajan it has. Like this whole ocean of birth and death that we're all stuck in, and our mind is always making us fearful that we are losing something, we are going to lose something. Always mind says that, isn't it? Fear, F-E-A-R. False evidence appears real. Right? Please come. So mind is always making us fearful that we lose something, we have lost something, or we're going to lose something. Right? So we have to fix that mind in Krishna consciousness. That is whole good. Please be seated. Yeah. So day and night, both in the day and night, I am sleepless, suffering from the pains of heat and cold, wind and rain. For a fraction of flickering happiness, I have uselessly served wicked and miserly men. What does this mean? Our bosses. Yes, there is no second thought. Right? We are also somebody's boss. But we are serving them for a flickering happiness. Right? Somewhere in May or June, that appraisal comes. For the flickering happiness, all throughout the year we will serve them. Right? You don't even know that you'll get it or not. Yeah. So, what assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons and family members? Real happiness is not there. Right? This life is tottering like a drop of water in the lotus petal. Like the water doesn't stand on a lotus petal, even if you try to keep it. Lotus is used for so many examples, many places. That is inside the water, but it's outside the water. Even though it's inside the water is not touching it. When it comes outside, there is not a single drop of water in it. Same way, water cannot stay on it also. So our life is also like that. Such unpredictable that anytime anybody can pass away. Right? Today you are seeing me sitting in this corner. Today night, you might hear that is gone. It is possible, right? So we are just dealing with padam yatvi padam natesham. Bhagavatam says, at any step there is death, there is danger, there is Kaliuga. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So it is a desire. So in this situation, when the whole world is torturing me, when my mind is torturing me, when my Hare Krishna, please come. Ati, you can come somewhere here. So when the mind is torturing me, when my boss is torturing me, my family is torturing me, my sons are torturing me, also daughters are torturing, don't worry. Right? When my family members are demanding, and my life itself is so much unpredictable, it can leave any time. At this time, what is the best thing to do? Is to worship the feet of Lord Hari and be ready to go. Isn't it? That is the best thing. So how are you going to worship? Shravana. Shravana means to hear. Let us think about the best person who represents this principle of devotion, Shravana. Can you think of somebody? Parikshit Maharaj, right? At the moment his death came in front of him, immediately said, I'm going to hear. No more talking. I'm going to sit down and hear. Right? Kirtana. Anybody can think of? Narad Muni. All the time doing Kirtan. And not Kirtan also means speaking. What I'm doing right now is also Kirtan in a way. Smarana, remembering. Anybody? Prahalad, right? Always remember Narayana. Next week we are celebrating Narsinga Chaturdashi. Right? I booked a hall in my own Krishi. All of you please come. We'll have small Abhishekam of Narsinghdev and we'll have nice Katha. We'll discuss about how Lord protects us, right? Practically in our life, how Krishna is protecting us. That we'll learn. So, Vandana. Can anybody think of anybody? Prayers. Vandana means prayers. Beautiful prayers. Gajendra, yes. And the scriptures explain Akrura. Akrura's prayers were very, very, among all the prayers, they were very, very pleasing to the Lord. Of course, all other prayers also. Who is Akrura? The one who came to take Krishna and Balaram to Mathura on the order of Kamsa. So he feels regretful. Why am I taking them there? Why am I separating Krishna from Vrindavan? So in that, these prayers are very deep. You can actually read the Akrura prayers in Bhagavatam. If you have Bhagavatam set, you can go to 10th canto and read Akrura's prayers. Very beautiful prayers. Then Pada Sevana, somebody who is always at the lotus feet, Lakshmi Devi, right? Dasya, as a dasa, somebody is serving. Hanumanji, right? Yeah. Oh, he wants to try it?
Here.
There, that's it. Yeah. Then Pujana, somebody is worshipping. Can you think of anyone? Who represents Pujana? Somebody is all the time worshipping. You can also think of Shabri. She was also worshipping, right? All the time. Many devotees are worshipping the Supreme Lord. Amrish Maharaj was worshipping the Supreme Lord all the time. Right? Sakhi-jana, meaning as a friend, right? Arjuna. Atmanivedana, complete surrender. Bali Maharaj, right? He completely surrendered. Okay, done. 1 feet on the earth, 1 feet on the sky, 3rd feet on my head. Take everything. Right? So Atmanivedana. Govinda Dasa Abhilashare. That is the desire of Govinda Dasa. That he wants to follow this 9 process of bhakti before he leaves his body. Right? So we should also make this our goal in life. That we should follow this 9 process of bhakti. And all these 9 process of bhakti are equivalently potent. You know, like even if you perform one of them properly, that's enough to perfect our life. They are so but most important one, Acharya is explaining Shravana. Meaning constantly giving our ears, hearing about the Supreme Lord is very, very effective process. Right? Should we sing one more bhajan or should we go for the discussion? Yeah, one more bhajan. Okay. Some devotees like bhajan, some devotees like philosophy, some devotees like prasadam, some devotees like, there are different rasas even within devotees. Nana, don't sit in the way. Can you come sit inside?
You can inside, there's a lot of space.
Yeah, there is a lot of space this side. All the boys can come this side. All the Prabhujis and boys can come this side. Yeah, on the way here. Yeah, okay. Just leave some way. We will do one more bhajan. Okay, I want to know whether you want to do some joyful braj kind of bhajan or do you want to do some nice soothing bhajan? Which one? Huh? Do you know which bhajan you want to go? Huh? Okay. How many here don't understand Hindi? Lift your hand. Subarapu is understanding now.
He's speaking of
Yeah, you can understand bhajan? Yeah, actually, this is a bhajan written by Brajvasis, so it's mostly in. Oh my God, I think I'm obstructing the way. Is that okay? Subtitles. Yeah. So this, जिस किसी को भी हिंदी आता है ये भजन ऐसे समझ में आ जाए, पूरा हिंदी में ही ऐसे नव नवरंगी त्रिभंगी श्याम सुअंगी श्यामा, ये पूरा ब्रज भाषा है. Anybody from Braj here, from Uttar Pradesh? Hari bol. Mataji also, yes. So this is the mood of Vrindavan and Barsana. In Vrindavan, everybody is saying Radhe Radhe. Everybody say Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe. Rickshaw wala chala tha. Hey Radhe 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 Radhe. And in Barsana, everybody saying Krishna, Krishna. Krishna! Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. ये पूरा बरसाना में चलता है. So it's opposite. Barsana is the place where Radharani appeared, and Vrindavan is the place where Krishna appeared. But in Vrindavan, nobody cares about Krishna. Barsana, they care rather about Radharani also. So Krishna is the one who lost a place. So you all have to joyfully sing. Okay? Ready? Navanavarangi Tribhangi Jaya Shama Suvangi Shama Navanavarangi Tribhangi Jaya Shama Suvangi Shama. Technically they have a problem. Can you bring the screen little this side and they can't see the screen. Yeah. Listen. He'll move this also, don't worry. Yeah. So, is it okay? No? Is it too small? Okay. Yes. Now, yeah, now Praveen Prabhu is doing the magic. Yeah, I think they're good. Yeah? Okay. Think further move it. Yeah. Maximum mutation on right side. Navanavarangi Tribhangi Jaya Shama Suvangi Shama Navanavarangi Jaya Radhe Jaya Hari Priye Shri Radhe Sukha Dhama Jaya Radhe Shri Radhe Sukha Dhama Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Shri Krishna Jai Radhe Jaya Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jai Krishna Jaya Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Shri Krishna Kama Gauri Nitya Kishori Vikrama Gauri Shri Radhe Atikara Shilo Kailasa Shilo Gunagara Shilo Shri Krishna Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Shri Radhe Krishna, Jaya Krishna, Krishna, Jai Krishna, Jaya Shri Krishna. Hamsadhavini, Rajati Ravini, Krira Kavini, Shri Radhe. Ruparathala, Naina Vishala, Paramakripala, Shri Krishna. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna, Krishna, Jai Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna. Santana Veli, Ratrata Veli, Adhyaya Veli, Shri Radhe. Tava Sukha Sagar, Tava Guna Sagar, Rubha Sagar, Shri Krishna. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna, Krishna, Jai Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna. Ravani Ramya, Sarvaratamya, Gunagamya, Shri Radhe. Ramanivasi, Brahma Prakashi, Saja Kuhati, Shri Krishna. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna, Krishna, Jai Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna. Haladi, Adhiyavadi, Uravumadi, Shri Radhe. Adhiyavadi, Adhiyavadi, Uravumadi, Shri Radhe. Anga Anga Kauna, Sarga Kauna, Shubha Kauna, Shri Krishna. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna, Krishna, Jai Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna. Swamini Gunabhiramini Haripriya Swamini Shri Radhe Radha Swamini Gunabhiramini Haripriya Swamini Shri Radhe Hare Hare Hari, Hare Hare Hari, Hare Hare Hari, Shri Krishna. Hare Hare Hari, Hare Hare Hari, Hare Hare Hari, Shri Krishna. Hare Hare Hari, Hare Hare Hari, Hare Hare Hari, Shri Krishna. Hare Hare Hari, Hare Hare Hari, Hare Hare Hari. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe. Bolo. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna, Krishna, Jai Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna, Krishna, Jai Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Haraaya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah Hari Haraaya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhupurana Hari Hari Gopinath Madana Mohana Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Thank you all for a wonderful participation in the bhajan. Hare Krishna. And welcome all. There is still place for another 100 people, so please. Hare Krishna. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta-padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatambitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Dalita Shri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Devaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamalini Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangre Namo Mahabadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha Namo Brahmanyaya Devaya Gau Brahmana Hitaya cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कुं करोति वाचालं पुण्यं लङ्घयति गिरिं कृपहतमां वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् ओम पवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यत्स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्ष सभ्याभ्यन्तरं शुचे श्रीविष्णु 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 Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhujis and Matajis. Thank you very much for coming. Sunday evening, we are back with Hare Krishna. Very well, so nice to see you, Prabhu. Long time. Yes. So today it's all rivers have come at one place. We have Mayam Avatar devotees, Mayam Vihanga devotees, and we have earlier Satsang devotees, and many new devotees who have come here. So let us welcome everybody who has come new with three loudest Hari Bols. Hari Bol! Perfection of life is to come together and tell Krishna that we are all desperate to come to you. Vasudeva Kutumbam, right? We are all one family. We are all born in different families. Some in North India, some in South India, right? We are not North Indians or South Indians. We are Indians born in North, Indians born in South, right? Again, there is another division there, or East Indians or West Indians, right? We are all here jointly to tell Krishna that we want to come back to you. If there is somebody who is not tired with material life, then he will not like today's talk. You have to be frustrated with your material life. Then only you will enjoy Bhagavad Gita. Right? So if you're not enjoying Bhagavad Gita, that means some taste is still there. Some ice cream is still working. Some gulab jamun is still working. Right? But don't worry. In our prasadam also we have some nice gulab jamuns today, but they are prasadam. Right? They'll remove the taste of gulab jamun. They'll remove the taste of any material happiness. But in fact, Krishna conscious devotees don't focus on renunciation. They focus more on application. Application of Krishna consciousness in our lives. We are not behind, I'll leave this, I'll leave that. ये छोड़ेंगे, वो छोड़ेंगे. ये पकड़ेंगे. क्या पकड़ेंगे? अभय चरण को पकड़ेंगे. Right? We will catch the lotus feet of Krishna. We will catch the lotus feet of Radharani. Look at this beautiful bhajan. So many things about Radharani and so many things about Krishna. It's like a tussle between Radha and Krishna. Right? Devotees are singing about Radha, devotees are singing about Krishna. So many features God has, right? Rasaviharini, Rasaprisatarini, Priyahura Dharini Shri Radhe. Immediately Krishna. Navanavarangi, Navatribhangi, Shyamasuvangi Shri Krishna. Right? We are so fortunate that we are born in Sanatan Dharma where so much information about God is given. Go and ask a Muslim what God does or what his consort does. They have no idea. They have no idea. Go and ask a Christian what Jehovah does. They have no idea. They'll just say, we believe it. That's all it is. Because that is the information that they have been given. Unfortunately, that is how much they have access to. But we have access into what all things they do. Right? What all qualities Radharani has is mentioned here. What all qualities Krishna has is mentioned here. Right? We can literally enter into Krishna's house and see what Krishna is doing. That much access we have been given. But the people who are not behind religion, the people who are really behind God, will also see Allah here, will also see Jehovah here. But the people who are not behind God are more, oriented towards, converting or increasing their kind of people. They will never understand the glories of God. At least we, forget about others, at least we who have taken birth in Sanatana Dharma should spend time to understand what God does, right? And what God speaks. And what are the glories of his devotees? What are the glories of Krishna? At least we should spend time, right? But unfortunately, even in our side of the society, not many are knowing what God does in the evening. How many of you know what God does in the evening? Is there evening and morning for God? How can there be morning and evening for God? He is fire, he is sun. He is sun. So if sun is there, where is night? Where is evening? Where is afternoon? Yes. Even in the spiritual world, there is a scripture written by Goswami, I forgot his name. He exactly mentions the time at which Krishna wakes up with minute detail. And he also says what he first eats, what he first says, what Yashoda Maya gives to him. You can leave it on the dining table. Right? So that level of detail we have. And the detail is not created by somebody just like that. It is actually mentioned, what Krishna likes, what he does not like also is mentioned. So today in Bhagavad Gita, we are going to enter a chapter called chapter 12. Right? Now this chapter 12 name itself is devotional service. Bhakti Yoga. Right? In this chapter 12, Arjuna is going to ask some very intriguing questions. 12.1. You all can see? Yeah? Let's try to discuss this. It's a very, very important chapter, and especially the first 8 verses are very important from a philosophical perspective. So I want everybody to be very attentive. We'll try to see how much we can finish that part of it. Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna Uvacha. Evam satata yuktaye. Evam satata yuktaye. Bhaktastvam paryupashate. Bhaktastvam paryupashate. Yechapi aksharam avyaktam. Yechapi aksharam avyaktam. Tesham ke yoga vittama. Tesham ke yoga vittama. Let's read the translation. Please repeat after me. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. Right? Did you all understand the question? Now Arjuna is asking about devotional service, is asking, who is more greater? The one who worships the unmanifested Brahman, meaning no form, no qualities, just the light, right? That is one form of God that people perceive. Or the one who performs devotion in the form of Vigrahamurti, or your form, right? The one who worships your form. Who is more perfect? Right? How many have this question? Somebody has this question, who is more perfect? Yeah. Now Krishna is going to answer that question. Right? Directly is going to answer. But before that, let's read the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Please pay attention. It's a very important purports. Krishna has now explained about the personal, the impersonal, and the universal, and has described all kinds of devotees and yogis. Generally, the transcendentalist can be divided into 2 classes. One is the impersonalist and other is the personalist. The personalist devotee engages himself with all energy in the service of the Lord. The impersonalist also engages himself not directly in the service of Krishna, but in meditation on the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. We find in this chapter that of the different process of realization of the absolute truth, Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, is the highest. If one at all desires to have the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he must take to devotional service. Those who worship the Supreme Lord directly by devotional service are called personalists. Those who engage themselves in meditation on the impersonal Brahman are called impersonalists. Arjuna is here asking which position is better. There are different ways to realize the absolute truth. But Krishna indicates in this chapter that Bhakti Yoga or devotional service to him is the highest of all. It is the most direct and it is the easiest means for association with the Godhead. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord explained that a living entity is not the material body. He is a spiritual spark and the absolute truth is a spiritual whole. In the seventh chapter, he spoke about the living entity as being part and parcel of the supreme whole and recommended that he transfer his attention fully to the whole. Then again, in the eighth chapter, it was said that anyone who thinks of Krishna at the time of quitting his body is at once transferred to the spiritual sky, to the abode of Krishna. And at the end of the sixth chapter, the Lord clearly said that of all the yogis, yoginam api sarvesham, right? That was one who always thinks of Krishna within himself is considered the most perfect. So in practically every chapter, the conclusion has been that one should be attached to the personal form of Krishna. For that is the highest spiritual realization. Nevertheless, there are those who are not attached to the personal form of Krishna. They are also firmly detached, that even in the preparation of commentaries to Bhagavad Gita, they want to distract other people from Krishna and transfer all devotion to the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. They prefer to meditate on the impersonal form of the absolute truth, which is beyond the reach of the senses and is not manifest. And so, factually, there are two classes of transcendentalists. Now, Arjuna is trying to settle the question of which process is easier and which of the classes is most perfect. In other words, he's clarifying his own position because he is attached to the personal form of Krishna. He is not attached to the impersonal Brahman. He wants to know whether his position is secure. The impersonal manifestation, either in this material world or in the spiritual world of the Supreme Lord, is a problem for meditation. Actually, one cannot perfectly conceive of the impersonal feature of the absolute truth. Therefore, Arjuna wants to say, what is the use of such a waste of time? Arjuna experienced in the 11th chapter that it is to be attached to the personal form of Krishna is best because he could thus understand all other forms at the same time and there is no disturbance in his love for Krishna. This important question asked of Krishna by Arjuna will clarify the distinction between the impersonal and personal conceptions of the absolute truth. Right? So here, Prabhupada is so beautifully explaining that there are going to be two people. There were and there are two kinds of transcendentalists. Transcendentalist means people who practice spiritual path. Transcendental meaning beyond time and space. Right? This hall, when it was designed by the builder, it was designed for 6 people. Right? Now we have fit in 100 people. Right? It's beyond space and time. So suddenly the constructed hall has become transcendental hall. That is the meaning of transcendental, meaning beyond time and space. When you come in near Krishna, everything becomes transcendental. Our heart becomes transcendental, our activities become transcendental, the space becomes transcendental, the words become transcendental, everything becomes beyond time and space because we are speaking about Krishna who is beyond time and space. Krishna is not old, Krishna is not young. This is also transcendental. It did not fall. Yeah. It's okay, that's okay. You can move that instead of that. Yeah. Okay. So, once again, Krishna inquired, Which is considered to be more, sorry, Arjuna inquired, which is considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Now let us hear the reply of the Supreme Lord. Okay, let us hear the reply and then we'll discuss about it. Right? Text 2. Please repeat after me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form are always engaged in worshipping me and with great faith and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. It's a direct answer given by Krishna. It is the people who actually worship me in my personal form are considered to be more perfect. Right? Let us read the third and fourth verse of translation also. Please repeat after me. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engage in the welfare of all, at last achieve me. So Krishna is also saying that people who take the impersonal path at last achieve him. But again, before that, there is some transformation in them. What is it? They are suddenly working for the welfare of all. And who can work for the welfare of all? Only devotees can work for the welfare of all. Eventually, everybody has to become a devotee only to go back to Krishna. It's not like somebody can sit in meditation and he'll suddenly achieve Krishna. It's not possible. That path is also there, but that path is a very troublesome path. Very clearly he's saying. Right? In the next verse he's saying, please repeat after me. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in the discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. So very clearly Lord Krishna is saying that if you are trying to practice a path where you don't perceive the form of the Lord, or you have no access to the form of the Lord, especially when you yourself are embodied, meaning you yourself are in a body, it's very difficult. Right? Can anybody love a tube light? Anybody here? Anybody can love a bulb? You can't. Right? You have to love a person. And it has to have a form. Isn't it? It has to have a form. Because you have a form. You can fall in love with a form only. That is one limitation. I'm not saying that's the only way to understand. That's one limitation, that being embodied, we cannot be falling in love with unmanifested. Unmanifested means that which is not manifested yet, which doesn't have a form. Qualities cannot be perceived. You cannot. Right? See, think of a person is standing in front of you and you can't see him properly. There is some blur in front of him and he's not even speaking also. Can you fall in love with him? You cannot. You can't see him, you can't talk to him, you can't understand his qualities. It is not possible. Now, how much time can you spend with him? You can't spend much time with him, right? So Krishna is saying it is very troublesome to go through that path, right? For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is very difficult for those who are embodied. 6 and 7, please repeat after me. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am a swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Right? So Lord Krishna is saying very beautifully, actually, this verse, these two verses are such a conclusion of what we have to get out of Bhagavad Gita. Please meditate as I read it again. For those who worship me, giving up all their activities onto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, bhakti, and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pratha, for them I am a swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Hare Krishna. So very clearly Krishna is telling that Bhakti Yoga is the only way. Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, everything has to ultimately cultivate into Bhakti Yoga. There is Ashtanga Yoga. You can control your breath, your sight, your breathing air, incoming and outgoing. Ultimately for what? For controlling the mind. And when you control the mind, what are you going to do with that mind? What are you going to do with that mind? Fix it on the lotus feet of Vishnu. Right? Bhajavure mana. Shri Nanda Nandana. Right? I want to fix my mana at the lotus feet of Nanda Nandana. That is the point of fixing the mind. Otherwise, you control the mind and then you do what? You don't know what to do. Right? A lot of people who teach only meditation without Vishnu, without Narayan, what is that meditation for? What are they going to do with that meditation? It is of no use. Right? You can off the projector now. You don't need the projector. Just 2 times. Yeah.
You can ask something.
Yes. Yes, Mati, you can ask.
Who are those people who worship impersonally? Unmanifested.
Who are those people? There are actually 2 kinds of people there. One who are very inquisitive also, and who are trying to seek the Supreme Lord, trying to find Him within themselves. They are trying to find, they are seeking. And there are also some people who want to become like God, the demoniac side. They also try to worship the impersonal. We'll discuss this on length. Today's topic is this only, right? Can I get some water, please? Just water.
Who is somebody? Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Vamsi Prabhu. Yeah.
To understand what it means by impersonal.
We will get into that. So there is God and there is God's energy. Okay, let's get very good clarification on this. There's a lot of people, even in our Hindu path, don't understand whether God has a form or it doesn't have a form. Right? We'll mix in Brahman, we'll all merge into God. So many concepts are there, right? But we want to be very, very clear. At least from Bhagavad Gita, we should be clear what is ultimately the highest, right? And what does it mean to be impersonalist and personalist? Prabhupada has already explained here that impersonalist means the person who focuses his concentration on the impersonal aspect of God, meaning his energies. There is energetic and there is energy, right? There is a person from whom energies are coming out. So there is a huge effulgence and huge space that is created by the energetic. Krishna, his effulgence is around him. Sometimes you see sadhus, there is effulgence around them. Purity, the effulgence. And Krishna himself is the most purest. So the effulgence is there around him, right? Like a fog, you can say like a fog, right? Like a light, illuminating light. That is called impersonal aspect of Brahman. That is lot of effulgence around God. So some people, when they see that effulgence, they forget that behind the energy is the energetic. And they simply see the light and say, this is God. Right? This is God. But that is not God. That is one aspect of God. That is one aspect of God. Let me take an example. We have one birthday of a devotee today, Santosh Aityapu. He is not here. But birthday cake. How many of you have got a birthday cake? We all got a cake, right? Sometime after that time. Huh? Now, cake has got 3 things. Cake has got a form. Cake has got a fragrance, smell. And cake has got taste also. Right? All the 3 are true. Does cake have a form? Yes. In the form. Does it have smell, fragrance?
Yes.
Yes. Does it have taste?
Yes.
Yes. Now somebody is just smelling the cake and happy. Right? That's also okay. He is happy with the smell. That's all. Right? You can consider that as Brahman. Right? The fragrance is everywhere and he is enjoying that fragrance. You can go like, no, you can look. Projector is off. Yeah. He's just enjoying the fragrance. Right? He's enjoying the energy that is emanating out of the cake. Right? And that is Brahman. We can say like that. Second is what? Form. Then he looks at the cake. Ah, it's beautiful. So many colors, so much cream, whatever is there on it. Right? The localized aspect of cake he can feel. Right? He can literally feel the cake. That is called Paramatma. That is the next level, meaning localized. The Supreme Lord is near you. You can feel him. You can feel the cake. Right? I'm giving a very simple example. Right? Try to understand like that. Fragrance of the cake is Brahman, which can go from this room to that room. Somebody is cutting a cake in that bedroom, you will know it here. Somebody is, where is the cake? Right? And then you see the cake. Ah, the cake is here right in front of me. That is a Paramatma. It's more local to you. It's within you. When you're doing something wrong, he tells why you're doing it. When you're doing something right, he's very happy. You feel very satisfied. So he's speaking from within you. You can feel him. Localized aspect. Right? And finally, the climax. What is it? Taste. Right? When you taste it, then you can know the qualities of the cake. Then you can know the sweetness of the cake. That is Bhagavan. You can literally feel God in front of you. He is right now speaking to you. When Gajendra spoke to Narayan, Narayan actually came and spoke to him. He is actually in front of the Supreme. There are so many saints and sages who have actually seen God. They have actually taken darshan of Bhagavan. Right? And Bhagavatam explains that there are three aspects of the Supreme Lord. Paramatma, Brahmeti, Paramateti, Bhagavaneti, Satyati. All the three are true. Meaning, Brahman is part of the Supreme Lord, which is his energy. Paramatma is part of the Supreme Lord, which is the localized aspect of God in everybody. And Bhagavan is the personal aspect of the Supreme Lord. That is also true. But the highest is Bhagavan. Because when you eat the cake, you also are smelling the cake, you're also touching the cake, you're also seeing the cake, you're also experiencing the cake. Right? Sat, Chit, Ananda. Supreme Lord is also called Satchitananda Vigraha. What is the meaning of Sat? Sat means eternal. Chit means cognizant or conscious, knowledge, right? Conscious. And Ananda means this. Right? Now, again, let's come back to the cake. Sat, eternal. It's there. You know. Chit, you have it's cognizant. You know that it's there. You can see it also. Ananda, finally when you eat it. Right? So Supreme Lord is eternal, is cognizant, is blissful, is happy. When you see him, when you start speaking to him, when he's part of your life, you become happy. Right? You have to experience the Supreme Lord. That is the most important aspect. Eternal aspect is when you live a spiritual life, when you come to devotional life, eternality automatically becomes part of it. You don't have to put extra effort. When you are hearing about Krishna, automatically you will become eternal. Why? Janma karma chame divyam evam yuvati tattvataha tyaktya deham punarjanma naiti mameti swarjana. It's simply saying, just understand me, understand my appearance, understand my activities, and you'll never take birth again in this mortal world. Now, how is that possible? Very simple. When you understand God, you'll understand yourself. Who are you? Clarity will come. And when you understand yourself, you'll understand more about God. That there is actually no birth and no death for all of us. We all have these faces right now, different noses, different ears, different hairstyles, different bodies. But actually, it's not us. Just a form that we have taken. Right? It's a temporary body that we are holding on to. When you understand that, if you lose something also, people are not that bewildered. But if you are too attached to your bodily feature, any loss is very big loss. Any loss is very big loss, right? You start getting white hair. Oh my God, such a big problem. You start having no hair. That is another problem, right? Or you start getting hair at places you don't want hair. That is also a problem. Somebody has hair all over his face. That's also a problem, right? But a transcendentalist, a sage, would not even consider this body as his. He will respect the body in terms that it is given by Krishna to cross over the ocean of birth and death. He respects the body. He maintains the body. He worships the body. But he doesn't think that he is the body. Right? Whereas materialistic people think that they are the body. Now let us come back to the question again that Arjuna is asking. Does God have a form or it doesn't have a form? Or which is a higher truth? God having a form or not having a form? Or let me ask another way. Is God not having a form true? Yes or no? No? Yes, I am hearing yes and no also. No? Why can't God not have a form? And why can't God be formless? You have to understand first of all, that both these things are inconceivable for us. Understanding that God has a form, understanding that God doesn't have a form. Both are true. Both are true. Simultaneously, he has a form and simultaneously it does not have a form also. This is a very important aspect that we should understand. And in Sanatana Dharma, it very clearly explains that God has a form and also God does not have a form. Right? It's his energy. That is also part of him only. Fragrance is part of cake. So his formlessness is also part of him only. Ultimately, he has a form, but he can also be perceived as formless. And there is nothing wrong. Am I confusing you all? Yes. That's okay. Slowly. Huh? There are two levels of reality. Understand like that. There are two levels of reality. Both are real. Highest reality is he has a form. A little lower reality is formless. That is also a reality only. Is God everywhere in this room? Yes. Is he there in the altar? Yes. Does he have a form? Yes. Does he have no form? Yes. Is he outside? Yes. Is he inside? Yes. So है कहाँ पे? Huh? Sarvantaryami. Yes. He's everywhere. But he is also there in his personal form. So understanding God is not that easy, but you understand that there are many things about God which have to be accepted with our little brains. Right? We only have to accept it. We can't do a research on it. Right? But we have to go by the experience of the great acharyas who have actually seen God. Our faith is not blind. Did Ramadas see Ram? He saw. He actually spoke to him. And not only spoke to him, he fighted with him when Ram appeared. That you appear in all kings' palaces, why will you appear in front of poor people like me? You put me in jail. And you are going around and speaking to kings. He actually started, having that personal dialogue with Lord Ram. It's a beautiful Leela of Ramdas, and which did not happen like millions of years ago. Few hundred years ago, he was speaking to Ram. So it's not like Ram doesn't appear on planet now. Even now he appears, right? Even now he appears. There is one Mataji in 1634, around that time. Her name is Karma Bhai. She was a daughter of a great devotee of Krishna. And her father used to tell her, make khichdi for Jagannath, somewhere near Jagannath Puri. And she used to make khichdi. And her father used to teach her how to be a devotee. You should make khichdi and you should offer it to Jagannath and Jagannath should have it. Then only you should have it. Poor little girl, she didn't understand that Jagannath has in different ways. The only way she understood is Jagannath has to actually have it. So she made that khichdi, and there are many devotees like that in the past who have that same episode. That as a child, you go in front of God, you keep the prasad and say, Jagannath abhi khao. And Jagannath is like, kha liya. But bacha, the child is like, tumne nahi khaya, you didn't eat. See, everything is there only. Jagannath is like, I ate with my eyes. You can see Jagannath's eyes, right? Can you see? He can eat the entire planet with it. Just by looking like this. Like he said, I had the khichdi. The girl is like, you didn't have the khichdi. My father will scold me. And I cannot eat because you have not eaten. So she started fasting. Jagannath is like, hey, you should not fast. You should eat. I have eaten. Really, I have eaten. No, you have not eaten. You have to eat. Then Jagannath literally came down from the altar. Can you imagine Jagannath coming over? He said, now I'll eat. For your satisfaction, I'll eat. He actually took the khichdi and he ate. And he liked the khichdi so much because it was made with love. And so much devotion that Jagannath has to eat it. Right? The girl made, small girl. And her father, she went and told her father that now I'm going to eat because Jagannath ate. So Jagannath, show your plate. It's half done. Half plate is eaten. So Jagannath like, you already eaten? No, I didn't eat. Jagannath ate. No, you already eaten half. No, Jagannath ate. He said, really? Then he goes into the altar and he says, now can you ask Jagannath to eat? So he takes a plate. She takes a plate and she keeps saying, Jagannath, please have some prasad. Otherwise I can't eat. Please eat. And in front of her father, Jagannath had no other choice because this girl is not going to listen. He actually came down and ate. And her father was astonished that what a purity in her devotion the girl had, Karma Bhai. And her devotion was so unparalleled that she used to get up in the morning and cook khichdi. The only thing she knew about devotion, no tantra, mudra, no shloka test. We are doing Bhakti Shastri, no shloka test, nothing. Just making khichdi. Just making khichdi. Right? She would get up, make khichdi. Once some acharyas, some great sadhus, they were coming to her home. They saw that she's making khichdi. And she saw this, she's not even taken bath. She just got up. She just got up from the bed, went to the kitchen, tak, 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 khichdi. And she's taking it to the temple. And they immediately told, no, this is not the right way. At least you should take bath. Get up in the morning, take bath, then you can make the khichdi. Then she's like, no, but Jagannath comes at this time. And by that time, if khichdi is not ready, then it's a problem. He is very hungry. Every day he comes. But those sadhus, they don't know the greatness of Karma Bhai. They said, you can make the khichdi, but take bath. Without taking bath, that's not right. You have to take bath. Then she said, poor girl, said, yeah, okay, I'll take bath. So Jagannath actually came to her house in the morning. Every day he comes to the morning. Krishna, like a little boy, he comes to her house. He's standing there, my khichdi, mera khichdi. And she's like, wait, I'm taking bath. He's like, who has to take bath? I'm waiting for my khichdi. My time is getting over. And there in Jagannath Puri, they're opening the door. Because this Jagannath has to eat khichdi here and then go there before he opens the door. Right? There is a timing. He's trying to maintain a time. And this girl is still taking bath. He's like, Karma Bhai, mera khichdi. Wait, I have to take bath. I'll come back. I have to wear nice clothes. I'll come and make the khichdi. Jagannath is totally in anxiety. And the Brahman is trying to open the door, is not opening only. In the temple. Because if he opens, Jagannath is not there. Only Baldev and Subhadra will be there like this. Jagannath is not there. Right? So then, finally, the girl makes the khichdi. Karma Bhai, she brings the khichdi and immediately eats khichdi. And this time, he takes the khichdi in his hand, he runs. Because he has to go to the temple. And by the time he goes, the temple, and the door opens, he has khichdi on his mouth like this. Just imagine, Brahmana is opening the door and Lord's mouth is filled with khichdi like this. Like, Krishna, Jagannath, what is this khichdi? Who gave you that? Yesterday night we made you sleep nicely. There was no khichdi, and I don't think we left any khichdi here. How did you eat that khichdi? Then Jagannath spoke to that person. See, you people, you are unnecessarily put me in trouble. You can simply worship now. Why you have to go and advise that girl? She is nicely making khichdi for me. Every morning, first thing I have is that khichdi. And because of you, see, so look at my situation. I didn't have to have immediately he tells, oh my God, what did we do? Immediately some people order, they go to that Karma Bhai's house and they tell, please make the khichdi again. He has not had it properly. She immediately makes khichdi again and comes and she says, whatever way you want to make, you make. Whether you want to make with after bath or before bath or whatever way, you make the khichdi for Jagannath. And even today, the first thing that Jagannath is given is Karma Bhai khichdi. If you go to Jagannath Puri, he likes to have his khichdi. Right? And that is why in ISKCON temples also, most of the time that people find is khichdi. Right? Everything is there in that khichdi. Like that. So is the devotion of the devotees. So is the devotion of devotees. Does God have a personal form? Of course he has a personal form. But the personal form is visible only to the people who are devoted to him. But does he have an impersonal form? He also has an impersonal form. Now, both are different levels of reality. Meaning, he has a form, is the highest reality. He does not have a form, is also a level of reality. But are both of them same? No, they are not same. Krishna is very specifically telling here, just now we read, that the people who worship the manifested aspect of me, the form of me in my personal way, are more perfect. Those yogis are better than the yogis who focus on the impersonal. Now let us discuss what is the problem having impersonal worship. Number one, he told it's troublesome because being in a body, you can't worship somebody who doesn't have a body. Right? That embodied aspect also needs. But why normally people are not very comfortable worshipping the impersonal aspect? Or rather, let me go another way. A lot of people argue outside that by giving personal form, they don't agree with personal form of God. What are the arguments they put? Anybody? General arguments that people put that why are you giving form to a God? Limited. Yes, limiting aspect, right? And another argument? One is God becomes limited by making him personal, right? Giving him a form. God becomes limited. What other argument they say? He's in so many forms. Yes. Or another famous argument is, why are you putting your imaginary form? One is God doesn't have a form. Second, why are you putting your own imaginary form on God? Why a human form only? Because you are a human? Because you are a human, you want to put a human form on God. Right? There is a whole philosophy, that's called Anthropomorphic Philosophy, which says that this anthropomorphists, they say that because you have a human form, you want to put that human form even for God. Because you have a form, you are putting the same form to God. And that is all illusionary. That's not true. Right? How many of you agree with this? Because you have a form, you're also giving the same form to God. Actually, you should agree. If you don't have a proper argument to it, you should agree. But actually, there is a reverse way of understanding this also. This is called theomorphic people. There is anthropomorphic, there is theomorphic. Theomorphists say that because we have form, God doesn't have that form. Because God has that form, we have that form. Why can't you see the other way around? Because Krishna's form is like this, we are getting that form. That's another way of seeing it, right? Instead of arguing why you have given your form to God, why can't you understand that you got God's form? That means God has a form and you got his form. But why a human form? Why a human form? Why not bird form? Why not animal form? Why a human form? Because among 8.4 millions of species that Lord Krishna has created, human form is the most nearest to God. And human form gives us a lot of access to spiritual inquiry. No other form has that much spiritual potential to understand God. Only human form has. Durlabha Manushi Janma. Only human form has that access, that much focus human can give. We have that. Look at all of us, right? In 2016, who all thought that you will be sitting like this hearing Bhagavad Gita class? Nobody thought. But something happened in your life. Somebody came, books came, knowledge came, and suddenly you are very inclined to. That means you have the potency, you're discovering it now. As simple as that, right? We all have the spiritual potency within us. Everybody has. Even the people who are not coming to satsang also have. But they have still not started utilizing it. But they also have it. They also have it. Every human who has taken birth as a human being has the capacity to understand God. All other species can also understand God, but not to this extent. Have you seen anywhere 100 birds sitting together and discussing about God? It's not possible. Well, they might be also thinking about God, but they can't sit like this because they're too restless. Because their main focus is what? Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maitranamcha. 4 activities. Eating, mating, sleeping, defending. Eating, mating, sleeping, defending. If you see a dog, its dog is always restless. If you see a deer, have you seen a deer relaxing like this? Always looking like this. You see a deer. Go little close by, it'll run away. It's always thinking who is going to kill me. When am I going to be killed? Always deer is thinking like that. But is a human being thinking like that? Do you see anybody walking in the corridor who is going to kill me now? No. Because we have been given a potential to forget that we might face death. We have been given that potential. Matta, Smriti, Jnanam, Apohanam cha. Knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. All 3 is given by Krishna only. Human body is a perfect body to start spiritual life and achieve God. And that is the reason human form is given by God. It's given by God. This is like ultimate. You are going to spider, mosquito, kutta, then slowly, elephant, cow, monkey, I don't know, and finally human. You are just one level to get into God's kingdom. You have practiced the 2 arms, 2 legs scenario also. Right? So you are very much now ready to get into the world of God. Because when you get into Krishna's land, suddenly you will not have 8 legs. You will have 2 legs only. Suddenly you will not have 8 hands. You will have 2 hands. If you get it near Narayan, you will have 4 hands. So your body is more or less ready. Your spirit is not still ready. For that you need satsang. You are following me? It's the nearest form of God. Theomorphists say that because God has a form, you have a form. Argument can be seen other way around also. If some people say, you have given your form to God, no. God has given his form to us. Are you all following? It's little too much theory now. So please, we'll also discuss some nice pastimes like karma by pastime. Right? That's more personal. Yes, Prabhu.
On how to understand that when we see avatars of Lord, started from the Buddhist avatar, Vara avatar, King avatar, and then Vamana avatar. So it's evolution happening over there. So Matsya,
like a bacteria, like a fish, like a animal, like a
then Vamana, and then
Vamana.
he comes
Yes.
into
Like a boar form, then into Narsimha form, then Rama form. Yeah.
So this evaluation of
Yeah. This is actually a WhatsApp evolution. That message that we got, actually I got in WhatsApp as well. The same message. That people have compared that to Darwin's theory. Dashavatar is compared to Darwin's theory. That all happened because some manager did not give enough work to his subordinate. He sat there, he saw Darwin's theory, he saw, the Dashavatar and started mapping them. There is no mapping there because, number one, Dashavatar Stotram is a poem written by Jayadeva Goswami. About 10 favorite avatars that he thinks is favorite, right? It's not, of course, they are the prominent avatars, but Lord has many other avatars. Even before the first avatar, Matsya, he was also there as Keshava. He was also there as in different avatars. There are unlimited forms of avatars that Krishna has. It's not like he started from Matsya. Matsya Kurma. It's not like he started there. It's not like first avatar is Matsya. Because Darwin theory says first we were bacteria. First we were Amiga. What is it? Amoeba. Right? And then we were something. When Prabhupada went to US, one reporter told that, but evolution, Darwin theory says, we are all monkeys. We were all monkeys. Then Prabhupada very nicely told, your ancestors might be monkeys, but my ancestors are all great acharyas. He told. Your ancestors might be monkeys. My acharya is all human beings. So evolution theory is, first of all, the whole theory is a hoax. There is no basis behind that. See, if human beings came from monkeys, why there are still some monkeys? They forgot to become monkeys? Not like that, right? So yeah, you can close the door. Yeah. So that the theory of comparing evolution to Dashavatar is not true. It is just a mental imagination. And God has not taken form from a amoeba all the way till now, and then he became God, nothing like that. So that's the whole evolution says there is evolution of consciousness, not evolution of form. Vaishnava theory says there is evolution of consciousness. Meaning, I was consciously thinking that I am an animal, but now I am trying to become a human, and then I am trying to become a servant of God. There is evolution of consciousness. But evolution of form is not there. There are already 8.4 million forms. Number is already fixed. Number of human forms, number of tree forms, number of reptiles, number of birds is all given. And all that number is applicable for us. It's not like one bird becomes another bird. Were dinosaurs there? They were there. But dinosaurs did not become horses, no. Horses were there then also, dinosaurs were there then also. Some of them are becoming extinct. Like, for example, maybe our grandchildren will not see tigers. In the textbook, they'll say, there used to be animals with stripes, just like we talk about dinosaurs. So, extinction will happen, but the forms are not newly created. Forms are already there. And the evolution of forms is not necessarily evolution of human existence. Evolution of form necessarily not that we became a human. We became a human because this form transformed into this form over a period of time. Not like that. Did I answer the question? It still looks doubtful.
Trying to see our knowledge comes from where he started to hearing like he took this avatar first. This avatar you say.
Yeah.
This avatar, then this avatar, then this avatar. We didn't say that okay, first avatar was one avatar.
Correct.
We see first this avatar, then this avatar, then this avatar. So this is as I said.
Even before creation, when Brahma actually is a secondary engineer. Brahma is a secondary engineer. So he got the bricks, he got the cement, everything, steel. He said, let me create. One demon came and attacked. And the demon's name was Madhu. Very powerful demon. Even before the creation. At that time, Krishna came and killed the demon. That's why his name is Madhusudana. Right? Even before creation. What to speak of Matsya Avatar. So, Supreme Lord Krishna has always been there. Yeah. So this avatar, actually Dasavatara Stotram, it's a poem. It's a poem written by Jayadeva Goswami. And in that Dasavatara Stotram, there is no Krishna. But some temples, they put Krishna also there. Just to fit in Krishna. Because they don't worship Buddha. Now, why Buddha is not worshipped? Because Krishna wanted him not to be worshipped as Buddha. That's another thing. Right? Because Buddha rejected the Vedic scriptures. So there was a need for rejecting the Vedic scriptures at that time. So he rejected. Ahimsa Parama Dharma. He said, non-violence is everything. But that is not ultimate truth. So instead of keeping Buddha, they keep Krishna. If you see a lot of temples, they don't keep Buddha. In the place of Buddha, they keep Krishna. But Dasavatara Stotram doesn't have Krishna. At the end, actually, Jayadeva Goswami concludes that all these Dasavataras are coming from Krishna. So that aspect is not properly educated. We can go and browse on Dasavatara Stotram written by Jayadeva Goswami. That gives the whole understanding. So coming back to, let us think about this. Okay. Then what is the conception that people carry when they say that God has a form? He becomes limited. Right? But does God having a form make him limited? Actually not. It's our mental conception that if something has a form, it is limited. If something has a, and does it mean if something doesn't have a form, it's unlimited? Let's look at the other way around. You are saying that if something has a form, it's limited. But why can't you think the other way around, that if something does not have a form, does it become unlimited? Okay, for example, this house is there. Is this limited or unlimited? Limited. Okay. In the right spirits, if somebody keeps a detonator here and blasts this house, and it becomes into pieces and powder, does it become unlimited? Does it become unlimited? No. It is still limited only, just that it lost its form. It just lost its form. That's all it is, There is a form, and then there is no form. Are you all following me? It's a mental thought process that we think that if something I cannot measure, it is unlimited. Now let's look at Krishna. Krishna's form is limited. You can say that it's limited. But when Mother Yashoda scolded him for eating mud, said, open your mouth. Did she see limited inside or unlimited? Limited. How is it possible? That if Krishna is limited, how can he show something unlimited inside him? Right? And what was unlimited she saw? She saw universes, not universe. She saw universes. And in that universe, she saw her universe. And in that universe, she saw some galaxies. In that galaxy, she saw this few set of planets. In that she saw Earth. In that she saw India. In that she saw Madhya Pradesh. In that she saw Mathura district. In that she saw Vrindavan. And that she saw her house. And that she saw she holding her son's mouth and opening it. She fainted. That's what happens when we try to understand God. We ultimately have to faint. Krishna, I can't understand. Just see, you are seeing yourself inside God. Right? And then who are you? If you are seeing yourself inside God, then who are you? Then who is God? Right? He's unlimited, yet he is limited. He can be. And why don't you say, God is great, God is unlimited, God can do anything, so why can't he be having a form? Why can't we argue the other way around, that why can't God have a form? Why can't God have a form? Instead of saying why God has a form, why can't we say why can't God have a form? God can also have a form. If you say that no, God has to be unlimited, God has to be formless, he cannot have a form, that means are we not limiting him by keeping him as unlimited? I mean juggling with English words. Are we not limiting him by saying he's unlimited? Against the logic, right? But think about it. God can be limited. God can be unlimited. God has a form. God doesn't need to have a form also. He still is God. Still is Krishna. Right?
Example in Shabarimalai, they go to feel a deity and they also feel his Jyoti industry.
The Jyoti is a big dispute. Let's not talk about it. But anyway.
People do believe like that God is coming in that form.
Yeah. You can say that. Anyway, it's a holy place. They go there and they worship. That is good. People want to say that God doesn't have a form. That's okay. He doesn't have a form. But he also has a form. But the problem with people who think that God does not have a form, they don't have complete understanding of God. That's all it is. You can't say that he's formless. He's formless, then only is God. Well, he has a form and his energies are there, which are formless. Energies are there. God has a lot of energy. Brahman is an energy of God. Brahman is an effulgence of God. Are we all inside the Brahman? Yes. Right now we are inside the Brahman only. We are all part of the energy of God. Are we all coming from Brahman? Yes, we are all coming from Brahman also. But does it mean Brahman is God? No. Brahman is just an energy of God. After speaking the entire 10th chapter, Krishna says to Arjuna, you wasted your time, you wasted my time. Because whatever you spoke is spark of a splendor. Right? He says, Arjuna, what is the use of you trying to understand me when you cannot understand me? I am trying to give you the best example among the best. Among the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Among the fishes, I am shark. If Krishna would have told, among the fishes, I am Tuntura. Like, what is a Tuntura? Because we don't know who is Tuntura. Actually, there is nothing called Tuntura. I'm just telling you. But Tuntura might be the greatest fish on other planet. But because our understanding is only limited to whales and sharks, he is forced to tell that among the fishes, I am shark. You are understanding what Krishna is doing? He is limiting himself to fit into our limited mind, limited brain. That it is that way you'll understand my greatness. But does it mean that's what it is? No, he's unlimited to that. He's unlimited to that, right? Can you think of any other time when Krishna became unlimited from limited? He seemed to be unlimited, though he is limited. Yeah, I'm Vamana. Yeah, he lifted the planet. Varahadev lifted the planet. Vamana, he crossed over the entire universe. If universe is unlimited, he broke the, what is it? The covering. And the Mandakini Ganga came down and became Bhagirathi Ganga. Right? He could do that. Universal form, yes. When Arjuna asked him to show your universal form, he suddenly became unlimited. Unlimited mouths, unlimited tongues, unlimited teeth, unlimited hands, unlimited legs, unlimited effulgence. The same Krishna became unlimited. And then Arjuna said, yes, President?
Mr. Virat Swarupam.
Virata Swarupam. Right? Yes. And when Arjuna saw that, what did he tell? I'm confused now. You come back to your original form. You come back to your two-handed form. You come back to that original person. And he comes back. And he actually says that that original form is me, which even Devatas cannot understand. He says, we read that last week, right? In 11th chapter when we were ending. He said, even Devatas cannot understand my form in this way, the way I am. Devatas also can't understand. Because for Devatas, they say, how come this small boy is unlimited? Just imagine, one small boy walks and comes into the room, is falling here and there, barely is trying to walk, he comes here, sits and looks like this. And I say that we are all coming from him, we are inside him. Kya baat kar rahe ho? Huh? Brahma Vimohan Leela. When Brahma got confused, Brahma, अपन लोग क्या है? Brahma के सामने. How many heads we have? Yes, 4. Right? And yes, multiple Brahmas, he got confused. When Brahma went to meet Krishna in Dwaraka, so that gatekeeper came and told Krishna that, Krishna, you have visitors. He said, who? Brahma. Brahma? Which Brahma? And the gatekeeper went outside and told Brahma, which Brahma are you? Just imagine. We're not demeaning Brahma. Brahma is our Acharya. Brahma, Brahma, Madhva, God, so Sampradaya, he is a great Acharya. And he is bewildered saying, what do you mean which Brahma? I am Brahma. I am Brahma. Wait a second. Which Brahma? Now what unique feature does he have? Only. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 4-headed Brahma. Then that information is given to Krishna. Oh, 4-headed Brahma. Oh, 4-headed Brahma. Okay. Ask him to sit in the front room. I'll come and talk to him. And then he immediately said, okay, I think why you speak to one Brahma? I can speak to several at a time. And he summoned. Some more Brahmas, please come. So one Brahma with 10,000 heads came. One Brahma with million heads came. Million heads, can you imagine? How can somebody have million heads? Will he be disformed with million heads? No, because our understanding is limited. He is beautiful with million heads also. If Krishna can appear beautiful in the form of a boar, is boar a beautiful thing? How many of you have taken a selfie with a boar? Huh? You've taken? Someone near a gutter, you've taken like this selfie with a boar? No. But you go to Bhuvara Swami temple, you will take selfie there. It's so beautiful. Even in the form of a boar, it was so beautiful. That Vedic hymns are being chanted. The Devatas are dancing, Gandharvas are singing, looking at his boar form. So in the form of a boar also is so beautiful. So Brahma, when he created everything about Krishna, anything he creates is complete, right? Purnam. Everything is complete. So when he created a Brahma with 1 million heads, that is also complete. That's not like an incomplete, unshaped item he created. No, that is also complete. So Brahma was sitting there with 4 heads and he got inferiority complex. When he saw some person with 10 heads, he said, okay, 4, 10 is okay, still not bad. Then 1,000 heads, 10,000 heads. 1 million heads, okay, I'm humble now. Trinada Pisunichana, Tarora Pisaishana, Amananiya Manadina, Kirtanesada. I'm done. Okay, tell Krishna that I will go now. So Krishna can, and Brahma Vimohan Leela. When Brahma tried to test him, from limited, he became unlimited. Krishna went into every single calf. Krishna became every single cow. Whatever Brahma had hidden, Krishna became that. Krishna suddenly became entire Vrindavan. All the children were Krishna. Brahma was hiding all the children of Vrindavan, and Krishna became entire all the children of Vrindavan. And not like he became and he was acting like Krishna. He was exactly acting like them. Inconceivable. Can you become me? Can anybody here become me? Somebody like me, one burden is enough on the planet. But you cannot become like me. I cannot become like you. I can do your mimicry. You can do my mimicry. But you cannot become me. Krishna actually became those many gopas. He actually became. Their mothers became so loving towards them, extraordinarily loving towards them, that he's saying the milk was like coming out of the breast as soon as they saw the child. Now the child had stopped drinking milk 5 years back. But suddenly, even a 10-year-old boy is coming to the house and their breasts are filled with milk. The mothers are stunned. What is going on with me? Right? Because all the gopis had a desire looking at Yashoda that why this woman only has the right to feed through her breast. When will we have the fortune of embracing little Krishna and feed her with her breast? They had the desire. And Krishna fulfilled the desire. He just expanded into all the children. And all the children were Krishna. And that love was unbelievably coming out of all the mothers of the gopis. And all the gopis are thinking, can we marry Krishna? He became Gopa, all other Gopas. Right? He just became everything. It's inconceivable for us. What he did, Brahma, technically the greatest data scientist or whatever you call him. What is the latest technology? Whatever we think is the highest and latest. Everything, what is in front of Brahma? Brahma is under kya technology? Nothing, right? Before Brahma, can you challenge on any course? Any IT version or anything? Nothing in front of Brahma. Brahma looked at Krishna's technology and he was shocked. He went to the place where he kept Krishna's children, Krishna's friends, and cows and calves. They are there. Then he went to the place where Krishna is right now in Vrindavan. They are there. It's like, okay. Then he went to the place from where he stole. They are also there. No. This is too much. I stole them. They are there also. Krishna is still eating with his friends. I kept them in a hidden place. They're there also. They're sleeping. And they are at the place with their parents. Completely bewildered. And let me tell you, Krishna's illusion is so great that even Balaram was bewildered. No, Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna. We all might be, I don't know, infinite expansion. I mean, some energy, not expansion, energy. Misdirected energy, me. Right? Somewhere. Balaram is the first. He is the source of all Narayans, Balaram. And that Balaram could not find out that Krishna is actually there everywhere around. All the calves, all the cows, all the gopas, they all are Krishna. Even Balaram could not find out. For how long? 1 year. Not 1 day. Krishna didn't do this pastime for 1 day. He did it for 365 days. Mothers are feeding their children. My son. Cows are feeding their calves. Right? Krishna is to take calves with him, not the cows. So what changed there? Not the cows. Calves changed. You understanding? Cows were with the elderly people. Krishna took all the calves and all the calves became Krishna. And the cows are very happy, with their calves. Now, one thing, I have personal experience of this. That if a new calf is born to the cow, the old calf, the cow will not even allowed to come near it. This was surprising. I don't know why. Right? There is a cow and there is a calf. It has a calf. Now the calf grows and again cow becomes pregnant and the second calf comes. If the first calf comes to drink its milk, it will kick. It will kick. Get out from me. Done. Tumhara milk quota ho gaya. the younger one is more important. It literally rejects. But something happened after 1 year. Many cows who were already pregnant gave small children. And when Balram saw, he saw something very unique. What did he see? He saw the cows are actually giving milk to the elder calves and not the younger calves. Because who is the elder calf? Krishna. They are so much in love with Krishna that they are kicking their younger calves. And they are giving milk to the elder calf. Then Balram looked at Krishna. Kya ho raha hai? What is going on? And Krishna told, you don't know. You don't know what happened. That was your birthday. You didn't come last year. That was your birthday. You did not come to play with us. During that time, I killed Agasur. And during that time, Brahma took everything. It's already 1 year. Krishna, then Balaram, even I got confused. Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna. Balaram is also confused with Krishna. What are we? How can we sit here and understand? Let me understand, is it formless or with form? He is everything. Right? Krishna so much follows the right thing to do for his devotees that he expands himself as Balaram, as Adi Guru. He is the first Guru in the disciplinary succession for everybody. He is also called Adi Guru. And he rejects Dharma coming out of Adi Guru also, if he wants to serve his devotees. For example, he wanted to marry his sister Subhadra to Arjuna. Balaram wanted to marry Subhadra to Duryodhana. He rejected Dharma also. His own first expansion rejected, because this is more important. That's why it is told, Dharmam tu sakshat Bhagavad Pranita. Whatever Krishna does is Dharma. He can reject his own first expansion to establish Dharma. What to speak of anybody else? Right? He is formless. He has a form. He is unlimited and is limited also. We are not like those, wrongly preached Muslims or Islamists who say that, we should go and break the temples wherever there is a form. That's what Aurangzeb did, right? That's what he did. Wherever he saw a form of a temple, he went and broke that form. Because that is what their scripture tells them. That anybody who worships anybody with a form, God has a form, they are kafirs, break that form and kill them. Unfortunately, that is what it is. Huh? Right? So that they can't stand God having a form. Because the scripture is like that. What can they do? They have to, but there are also people who understood finally. For example, in ISKCON Juhu temple, the clothes of Radha Ras Bihari are stitched by a Muslim. And the amazing part, he recently passed away, like I think 2-3 years back. For 40 years, he was stitching clothes of Radha Ras Bihari. 40 years, Muslim. And the amazing part is every festival a new dress has to be stitched. Every Janmashtami new dress, Gaur Purnima new dress, Narsimha Chaturthi new dress. So every festival he would come with a tape and a book. And it's true. And devotees are, please say. Again he has come. He'll take measurement of Radha and Krishna. They're murti, they're marble. Why do you have to take measurement of marble again and again? Right? I mean, typically it shouldn't change. And that Muslim would tell, you don't know what they do. I know. Sometimes they are fat, sometimes Radharani is thin, sometimes this fellow is tall, sometimes, I know, my problem, I fix it. Don't come in between. He'll take his chest, he'll take his hands, pura measurement, then he'll go and stitch the cloth. And if you put all those clothes, it will never fit them. One will be tight, one will be loose. Because that time they were thin, this time they are tight. How can you understand? I'm not talking about an allegoric story that is like 500 years back. I'm telling you about 5 years back. He was there. It came in the papers also. The Juhu ISKCON temple, that Muslim who used to stitch the clothes is no more. Did he go back to Krishna? Pakka. Goloka tailor shop. It will be there. They are also stitching clothes for Krishna and Radha. That is devotion. People who have devotion can see the form of God. People who don't have devotion, they can't see the form of God. So impersonalists are mostly the people who don't have devotion. And another argument they say, impersonalists also, they worship God, by the way. There are a lot of impersonalist people who say that they don't believe in the form of God. They also worship God. Why? They say that we worship God in a form so that we can focus. Ultimately, when we become totally spiritual, we'll go and merge in God. That time we don't need a form. So they think that worshipping a murti is a medium through which they can focus on God. Because you can't focus in the sky, right? You can't focus in the sky. You can't just see the sky and fall in love with it, right? You have to have something there. So they actually say that keeping a form of God is a via medium to develop bhakti. But once you achieve liberation, then there is no form of God, you don't have form, you become one. Two tubelets will become one tublet. That is their conception. But in Vaishnava Sampradaya, three things are eternal. What are they? Bhakta, Bhagavan, Bhakti. All the three are eternal. There is always a Bhakta. Even the Bhakta goes to the spiritual world, he remains a Bhakta. Natva evam jatunasam, natvam neva janadipa, natchaivana bhavishyama, sarvevya atavapara. Krishna is telling very clearly in Bhagavad Gita. Beginning itself, there was never a time you were not there, there was never a time I was not there, there was never a time all this janadipa, all this kingdom, all these kings were not there. And there will never be a time when we will not be there also. So, pick up the arms and fight. Why is he saying you, me very, very clearly? Because always we will be we, he will be he. It will never happen that we become one with God. If somebody has a dream that you are going to become God after you die, I'm sorry, you will not. Right? Even after going to Goloka also, you will be a servant of God only. You are here in this Loka also, Gachibowli also, you are a servant of God only. Okay? We'll always be individual. Are you all following it? We will never become one. Actually, personally, I was very uncomfortable when, as a child, I used to hear sometimes, people used to say, "You're going to merge in God." And I used to feel scared actually. So after death, I'll be gone. After death, I'll be gone. It's a very scary feeling. I don't know. For me, it was. Mera kya hoga? Mera kya hoga? Maut ke baad. Then when I actually read Bhagavad Gita, I became very happy. And Krishna told, there is never a time you will not be there, and never a time I will not be. Okay. So I'll exist. Somewhere, I'll be existing. So my individuality is never gone. All our individuality is never gone, Prabhu Janmati. Satyadev Prabhu will always exist. Here also, there also. Right? Muralidhar Prabhu will always exist. Everybody, all Matajis will also exist. Survi Mataji will also be there. Right? She'll never become one. We are in union with God in service, not in form. When we say merge, we merge in union in service. Meaning, we are all together are serving God. That is union. We don't have to say we are merging in God. मैं भगवान बन जाऊंगा. कोई भगवान बनता नहीं है, भगवान होता है. Nobody becomes God. God is God. When Krishna was 1 day old also, he was Krishna. When Krishna was in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, 125 years later also he was Krishna. There is no difference. Even 1 day old Krishna told Yamuna, split the way. It gave splitted the way. Vasudev just walked with him through Yamuna, isn't it? So Krishna did not become God. Krishna was God. Even a small child could lift on his pinky finger entire Govardhan in 24 square kilometers. He just lifted like this. And it's not like, some people say, oh, so Krishna, my God, I was shocked to hear one useless fellow, these days famous in YouTube. He was actually telling that Krishna was growing year after year and becoming more mature. He lifted Govardhan, and then he was close with girls. Then he became close to his mother. First he was close to his mother. Then he became close with girls. Then he became a little more mature. Then actually his mother also started loving him. Then he became some nonsense, absurd nonsense. And below, what did people write in the comments? What a deep understanding. What did he speak? Amazingly he spoke. Nobody understood what he spoke. But they understood what he spoke. That is also inconceivable. Right? Why can't you just speak what is there in the scriptures? You can just read. What is there? Just read it properly, na? You have time, you want to understand Krishna? Go and read Bhagavad Gita. Go and read Mahabharata. Go and read Srimad Bhagavatam. You'll understand what is Krishna. Instead, you will hear from some nonsense source. One fellow wrote a book saying that actually Krishna planned the entire Mahabharata because he wanted his Yaduvamsh person to sit on the throne of Hastinapur. Can you imagine? Krishna planned the entire Mahabharata because he wanted his sister's son's son to sit on the throne. Ultimately, that's what happened, right? Subhadra's grandson, Parikshit, Abhimanyu's son, sat on the throne. Then somebody is writing a book saying that Krishna का plan देख सभी को उड़ा दिया, यदुवंश से लेकर आके बिठा दिया. Can you imagine? When people read that book, they also go and discuss about it. The favorite topic when men get drunk, what they discuss? God. I don't know if you've seen drunken people. I have seen. They get drunk. First peg, office. Second peg, wife. Third peg, some issues. Fourth peg, God. Immediately. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, pura God ही God चलता है. దేవుడిని Baba, Amma. That is what it is. Free thing, right? Nobody can comment anything. Ask them to discuss about Allah. Fifth peg पूरा उतर जाएगा. And fellow will come and take a knife. But can you discuss about Krishna? They can discuss. Nobody will say anything, right? Another secular fellow will be sitting in that bar. Really? He'll also understand. Right? He'll spread that knowledge. Any nonsense can be spoken when it comes to Sanatana Dharma. And nobody will object. Nobody will object. No, those days have to stop. At least people sitting in this room should tell that fellow, you drink, you finish your thing. Tomorrow morning we'll discuss. You have a doubt on this? I will clarify. And we should clarify about that. It's time now to clarify. We are not going to accept nonsense. We have to tell them what is the truth. There is a science behind everything. And if you cannot speak, bring him to somebody who can speak. But we should not let this ignorance prevail around, because it is killing our Sanatana Dharma. Does God have a form? He has a form. He is Bhagavan. Then what is Brahman? His energy is Brahman. Can we all remember this? Yeah? And just because it's unlimited, just because formless, doesn't mean it's unlimited. Even formlessness is limited. Even formlessness is limited. Just because he is form, doesn't mean he's limited. Because within the form also, he has unlimited. Are you all with me? Yes. Now another thing is that people don't like God to have a form, because the moment he has a form, you have to deal with his tantrums. Because he will like something, he will not like something. See, if I say, who is a manager here? Anybody here? Manager? A lot of managers. Okay. Your manager? Yes. Chandraprabhu manager. So now, if wherever your subordinates are working, if somebody goes, hey, everybody work, manager is coming. Big deal. But if you go and tell Chandra is coming, Chandra is coming. Because Chandra is a very cruel person. He can catch everybody and get them sacked also. I'm just telling you, like you have a nature. We all have a nature. Everybody has a nature. And a person is, according to his nature, he acts. Right? A word manager is very generic. But a word Yogesh is very specific. Again, what Yogesh will do, everybody knows. What manager does, nobody knows. So the moment I give a form to God, The moment I give a name to God, now I have to listen to whatever He says. Isn't it? So people don't want to give a name and form to God. They want to just meditate on the impersonal. The moment I give a name and form to God, immediately Krishna will say, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam. Basi, putting conditions. I don't want God with a name and form. Because as soon as I accept that He has a name and form, I have to accept His conditions and preferences. Is that true? That is another reason why people don't want God to have a form. Because the moment He has, He'll tell, I like this, I don't like this, you do this, you don't do this, do's and don'ts I don't want. Are you all following me? Yeah? Any questions at this point? Formlessness? Yes, brother. Huh.
We are part and parcel of Krishna. What's the meaning of it?
We are coming from Him. We are part of Him. Aham bija pradapitaha. He says, I am the seed giving father of every living entity. We are part of Him. We have the same qualities. Almost the same qualities we have. Right? But in quantity we are very less. We are Anu, they are Vibhu. We are very small. We are truthful, He is always truthful. We are strong, He is the strongest. Right? We are a drop, He is the ocean. That's the only difference. In quality we are same. Ocean drop has the same qualities of salt as the entire ocean has. Same, if you want to understand the entire ocean, just take a drop and put it in experimental lab, you'll know what it is. You don't need to bring the entire ocean. Same way, if we understand ourselves clearly through self-realization, we'll understand God. At least some aspect of God we'll understand. When we understand that we are not this body, we are the soul, automatically we'll understand the greatness of Krishna also. And Krishna actually likes us to be worshipping Him in the form. He actually likes. It's not that, He's saying, okay, I have a form, you choose whether you want to come to me or not. Krishna actually wants us to worship Him in a form. Right? Yes.
Why we have so many temples that we are worshipping in different forms. Even Veda Pandits also, like, they might have read Bhagavad Gita, right? But ordinary people, they were worshipping different ways. Even Veda Pandits and who read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, they are worshipping in different ways.
I don't think.
Rama, Anjalaya.
No, are you talking about Vishnu avatars? Yeah, there's nothing wrong in that. You can worship Rama, you can worship Varaha, Matsya, Kurma. Yes, you can worship.
Bhagavatam, I read, he said directly, you worship me, like Krishna. Because Sattva-guna people will worship me, and Rajoguna will worship in different forms. Tamoguna will worship them.
Ghost and yeah.
But why still, even though it was mentioned clearly,
because in Bhagavad Gita itself he gives the answer. Bahunam janmana mante jnanaman mam prapatite vasudeva sarveti samahatma sudurlabha. What is the meaning of that? Bahunam janmana mante. After taking many births, Bahunam janmana mante jnanaman mam prapatite. Meaning the most intelligent, after taking many births, finally inquire, who am I? Finally inquire. Vasudeva sarveti samahatma sudurlabha. Among such great people, the people who will finally understand that Krishna is the source of everything, such Mahatmas are Durlabha. Durlabha means rarely found. It's not easy to become Krishna devotee, Prabhu. I'll tell you that. Because Krishna is the most controversial character. Right? It's not, he will test you in and out before you become his devotee. But once you become his devotee, you cannot fall in love with anybody else. Krishna is that, like, Acharya, some acharyas in a jovial way, they say he's the jealous husband also. He doesn't want anybody else to look at his wife. My wife should only look at me. My devotee should only worship me. Simple. Because he knows that he is the supreme and only by worshipping him, he will come out of this material world. He knows that. But his expansions worship is not a problem. You can worship Krishna coming in different expansions. Why is Krishna coming in so many expansions? Because we all like to taste different things. We all like variety. So Ram is a Maryada Purushottam. Narsimha is Bhakta Vatsala. Right? Different qualities God comes to attract us. And it's okay to go and worship in different forms. But the Brahmanas, the pure Brahmanas, who have actually learned Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, ultimately worship Krishna. Even if you look at Sri Vaishnavas, the whole 11 months they might worship whatever, but finally when it comes to Kartik month, they'll worship Andal prayers. And what are Andal prayers all about? Krishna. Bhakti means Krishna. There is no discussion on that. Bhakti means Krishna. You cannot do bhakti with the supreme aspect of God. You can only do bhakti with Krishna. But unfortunately, not many Brahmanas are properly trained today. But again, you should also understand Krishna himself is saying that there will always be two kinds of transcendentalists. One who will worship the personal aspect of me, one who will worship the impersonal aspect of me. They will always be. There are some people who are envious of God will worship Brahman. They don't want a form to God, they want a name to God. One more thing that we all should learn is Nirakara Nirguna, these two words. Right? Nirakara, Nirguna. That also has to be properly. Actually, there is a Sanskrit way of study called Arthapati. Arthapati, which means sometimes what you hear might sound contradicting, but you have to find the real meaning behind it. For example, Ravi Teja Prabhu doesn't eat during the daytime. Doesn't eat during the day at all. Right? And another statement I'm saying, Ravi Teja Prabhu is becoming fat. How is this both possible? Because he's eating during the night. Right? You have to look at this statement, you have to look at this statement. And then you say, okay, he's becoming fat and he's not eating during daytime at all. Something is there behind. This is called Arthapati way of looking at things. Which is what great acharyas do. They take the scriptures and they write sandarbhas, like the great Goswamis. They remove all the contradictions, they bring the scripture as it is. And why the contradictions are written? Then you can ask, Krishna can simply give the knowledge, why he has to write two statements here and there? Because some people will be there who does not want bhakti, but they want knowledge. So Krishna keeps them aside. You want knowledge, right? Go scratch your head. He eats in the morning, he doesn't eat in the morning. He eats, no. He keeps on scratching his head. He'll be happy in that only. But a devotee who wants to come to Krishna, he will not read that book. He will simply go to a guru, and that guru will open the book and he will tell that he eats in the night. Finish. Right, Rohini? So you secure the knowledge by keeping some contradictions here and there. And there will be jnanis behind that knowledge, happily satisfied in their jnana itself, who don't want bhakti. But the people who want bhakti will go to a guru, who is a Vaishnava guru, who is a devotee, and he'll tell the essence of it. And he'll solve all contradictions. It's called Arthapati way of reading Vedas. Does God have a form? He has a form. Does God not have a form? Yes. Like actually Gajendra prayers in Gajendra Moksham, I forgot the verse number in 8th canto, but he actually says, Hey Narayana without any form with so many forms. The verse starts like that. Hey Narayana with no form with many forms. That itself is like bewildering. What is he calling? With form or without form? But Arthapati way, they acharyas go in another level and they say that actually his form is describing the greatness of God who comes in so many forms. Yet he is formless, meaning he doesn't have a form like us. Another reason people don't like to accept God as a form is because they think that he'll also be like me only. He'll also get cold, he'll also get diabetes, he'll also get cancer, he'll also get... Because he has a form. Because everybody you're seeing around has a form, has some problem, isn't it? Then if God also is in between everybody, he also might get that same form. So God is not a person. Nirguna doesn't mean God doesn't have guna. It means that he is above the gunas that we have. We have mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Sattva guna, Rajaguna, Tamaguna. But God has beyond the gunas. They cannot touch him. Gunas cannot touch him. That's why it's called Nirguna. Nirakara, meaning not akara like us. His akara is purely spiritual. Purely spiritual, not like our akara. That also. So this is the Arthapati way of seeing things. The scripture says Nirakara. But actually the understanding is not a form like ours. Not an akara like ours. If you read it as it is, you'll get confused. So we need a guide. Always when we need a scripture, we need a guide. Otherwise we'll get confused. And God himself. Now for some time, let us discuss how much God likes us to worship in a form. In 1511, which is like close to 500 years ago. 500 and how much? 1511? 511 years ago, to be very precise. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he visited Sri Rangam. On his South India Yatra, he actually visited Sri Rangam. How many have gone to Sri Rangam temple? What are we doing? Why only so many? In 2022, whoever has not lifted their hand, can you go to Sri Rangam and come back? Huh? No, you too, nahi chalega. Just keep it a target. Go to Sri Rangam and come back. At least before death, we should see Sri Rangam. What is the specialty of Sri Rangam? It is the exact map of Vaikuntha. 4 gates of Vaikuntha. 4 directions. Everything is same as Vaikuntha. We all know that. You want to see Vaikuntha, the design, you can go to Sri Rangam and come back. Exactly. So let's keep a target that, me, my wife, my children, or without wife I'll go, or without husband I'll go. Children don't go without parents. But go. Because we have to see. See, I'm seeing an average of 42, 43 here. Or maybe 38. Average. So how many years you have left? Logically, enthusiastically thinking, positively thinking, maybe another 30 years left. Is it too less? Take 35. So 35 years is what you have, and you have taken birth on this planet. Don't waste this birth by not going to these holy places. Keep a list, target list. Keep a target list. 2022, I'll go to Sri Rangam. 2023, I'll go to Mayapur. If your boss says you cannot resign, what nonsense? I'm going. Simple. I can actually remove it, project. Don't do it. It's becoming formless. It's had a form. It's gone. Anyway, keep a target like that. Like 2025, I'm going to Ahobilam. 2026, I'm going to Melkote. 2027, I'll go to Udupi. 2028, I'll go to Thiruvananthapuram. Right? 2029, I'll go to Badrikashram. Can't you keep a target like that? Is it exciting? Right? Please, our life is to visit holy places. Visiting holy places is one form of devotional service. Padeshamrita, it explains that associating with devotees, visiting holy places is part of our devotion. We should do it. From there is a God behind you. Massive size is given. Right. Yeah, it's there. Huh? Why we visit very holy places is because we get to meet sadhus. Don't go to Tirupati and say, going to and come back. After Kuchoni, Venkatesh Swami Leela Linandi. Anandam Veram. Actually, in our culture, we spoil our culture of going to holy places with MLA recommendation. Our target is darshan. No. Why the holy place is special? Because that place Narayan walked. That hill, that very hill, from where we walk up the hill, that place Ramanujacharya walked on his knees. Right? It's a holy place because that is a place we can experience the Acharya's presence. That's all. Actually, if you are a pure devotee, you don't need to go anywhere. You can sit here and experience all the places. But are we at that level? I don't know. I am not at that level. I want to visit that place. I want to go and see where Krishna was standing with his calves. Right? You go to Tirkadam. There is a place in Vrindavan. Tirkadam. Right? Krishna would sit there and play flute, and all the cows will come there every evening. Right? So you want to go to that exact spot and experience Krishna. So going to holy place is a very good thing because it makes you focus and gives a reality to what you've heard. After hearing for 1 year, here, when you go to that holy place, you'll understand and appreciate the place much, much more. Like you can hear the Leelas of Jagannath, keep on hearing Leelas of Jagannath, then go to Jagannath Puri, you will cry in front of Jagannath. Next day we go and eat khichdi of Karma Bhai. You remember, Jagannath eats that khichdi. It's not an illusionary thing. Even today, Jagannath eats Karma Bhai's khichdi. It has to be prepared, it has to be given. Right? Going to holy place is a very important thing. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, God himself, when he appears as a devotee, Krishna appeared as a devotee as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he visited holy places. He could have sat there saying that I am God, come and access me. No, he said, no, I want to visit holy places. Because my devotees reside there. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to Srirangam. And that day in Srirangam was an unbelievable day. Like, because all the pujaris in Srirangam temple, huge complex, everybody were looking at this golden person. It's as if, scriptures explain, it's as if a golden log is rolling on the floor. When Gauranga Mahaprabhu was rolling on the floor like this, it's as if a log of gold, a tree, fully made with gold is rolling on the floor. Who is this person? Is he a Devata? Has a Devata come? He is not looking like an ordinary person. What is his effulgence? Who is he? And the entire temple was stunned looking at his kirtan. Looking at the way Mahaprabhu, he was Swayam Ranganath. Swayam Ranganath is standing inside the temple, sleeping inside the temple. Swayam Ranganath is standing outside the temple and is chanting holy names. And everybody was shocked. Oh, what a beautiful person, what an attractive person. Who is he? And how he is shining so much, just like gold. And there in that assembly, one Brahman called Venkata Bhatta. Actually, there's also Venkata, Venkata, they say. Venkata Bhatta Goswami, he came there. And they looked at Mahaprabhu, he looked at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shocked, looking at his effulgence and looking at his devotion, the way he was chanting the holy names. Immediately Venkata Bhatta told, can I serve you for some time? My house is within the compound of the temple. I am a pujari here. Can I serve you for some time? Venkata Bhatta understood who is he. Because the devotee can see God. He immediately understood the Supreme Lord has appeared. Right? So he took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his house. And he took him to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his house and then he asked his entire family to come. He had two brothers, Tirupati Bhatta and Prakashananda Saraswati. Two brothers he had. So he called his two brothers and his little son. His name was Gopal. He called, you also come. And they all washed his feet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not allow any ordinary person to wash his feet unless he is a devotee. Washed his feet. And after washing the feet, what did they do? They drank that water. Charnamrita. Called Charnamrita, right? They drank that water. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu allowed, drink, no problem. And then they took care of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like cooking for him, taking care of him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also understood that he is a very pure devotee. And more than him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very, very fascinated with his son Gopal. His son would come, every morning he would do Dandavat Pranam, he would come and sit in the lap. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would put him in his lap. Can you imagine? Supreme Personality of Godhead is keeping this child on his lap. And he's playing with that child, little Gopal. And the child is so fascinated. And whenever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is eating, the child would sit like this. He will eat And after that, he'll look at the child, he'll leave some things in the plate. So, Gopal, this is for you. He would give the remnants himself. We should never take anything from anybody's plate without their permission. That's Vaishnava etiquette. Never. We should ask permission or that person should leave it. Either the person should leave it or we should ask permission. Don't, go and take Prabhu Mahaprasad. No, that's insult actually. We should never do that. Never. The person should give it. When will he give it? When he actually wants Supreme Lord to bless. Right? Actually, some principles I'm saying, but try to see how much you can apply it in your life. When some Vaishnavas visit your house, when they get up, before they get up, you should go and ask for their plate. Can I take this plate? And if they are merciful, they'll give their plate. You cannot snatch their plate. Never, ever. Never snatch the plate. That's not etiquette. Because you might snatch it here and there. Some kusti we do. But one day you will do it with the great Acharya also. Same mistake you might commit with the Acharya. That's not acceptable. Never touch anybody's feet without their permission. Even Guru's feet should ask permission. The only feet you can fall without permission is mother and father. And today is Mother's Day. Very well. You can touch mother's feet, father's feet. But anybody else's feet you should not. There are etiquettes. All these are written in Haribhakta Vilas by Sanatana Goswami. So, Gopal would sit on the lap of the Supreme Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would eat and leave some things. And then Gopal would eat that remnants. And just imagine a child who ate the remnants of God, what he will become. Right? Actually, the greatest wealth on the planet is when you can get the remnants of devotees. If you can get. Right? Jagannath's remnants were eaten by Narad Muni. He was jumping. Then Lord Shiva came and fought with him. Where is my share? He took it out from his fingernails, whatever was left. He made a little gola and he gave it. Lord Shiva ate and he started in thunder. And who fought with him? His wife. Where is my better half? There are 50% kidhar hai. I ate everything. Right? So much devotees fight for Mahaprasad of the Supreme Lord. And this boy is directly getting the prasad, to him. And 4 months Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in Venkata house. 4 months. Until the rainy season got over. And as soon as the rains got over, Mahaprabhu told, I'm going to go now. Immediately, this little Gopal came and fell at his feet. Dandavat. He just fell like that. He said, don't go. I can't imagine. After you go, how will be the house? Everybody. Prakash and Saraswati, Tirupati Bhatta, Venkata Bhatta, his wife, his family, everybody started crying. But Mahaprabhu was like, I have to go now. But as soon as he saw Gopala Bhatta, he got more merciful. He said, okay, 2 more days I'll stay. 2 more days I'll stay. Just imagine the Supreme Lord, who cannot be stopped by anybody, can be stopped simply by love of a small child. I will stay. Then he told Gopala Bhatta that when your parents become old enough and you have taken care of them completely, you go to Vrindavan. You go to Vrindavan and you can meet my disciples there, Rupa and Sanatana. He told that to Gopal Bhatta and then he left. Then I'm actually cutting short the story. It's a beautiful big pastime. I just want to tell the aspect of how much God loves him to be worshipped in the form. That is the topic today. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left and Gopala Bhatta was serving his parents. And after almost 30 years, around 1542 to be precise, his parents were at a state that he can leave. So that time he was also in his 30s, right? 38, 39, something like that. He said, I'm going to leave now. So Gopala Bhatta, he left. And actually before leaving, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initiated a small boy, saying, "You are going to be Gopala Bhatta Goswami." He initiated. And then, just imagine, God is initiating right there. And then after 30 years, this Gopala Bhatta Goswami goes to Vrindavan. And as soon as Gopala Bhatta Goswami went to Vrindavan, the message came. He actually thought he will go and see Mahaprabhu in Vrindavan. He actually thought he'll see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But by then, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri. He was not there in Vrindavan. So as soon as he visited there, Mahaprabhu already told to some of his servants that my disciple Gopala Bhatta Goswami is going to come. He's very special. The news already went to Rupa and Sanatan, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. You can see 6 Goswamis picture on the altar. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Gopala Bhatta Goswami. They are the 6 great acharyas in our sampradaya. So Gopala Bhatta Goswami, as soon as he went to Vrindavan, all of them were very happy. Are great. Gopala Bhatta Goswami is very, very great in scriptures, writing sandarbhas, writing, interpreting scriptures, giving meaning to it. He had great knowledge, very knowledgeable person. So he went there, immediately Rupa and Sanatan sent the message to Mahaprabhu that Gopala Bhatta Goswami must come here. And they were very happy. Right? And Gopala Bhatta Goswami, in his dream, Mahaprabhu came and told, go to Nepal. Go to Nepal. Like that. You have to go to Nepal. Now, as soon as he heard that, he felt that is an instruction. And then he went to Nepal from there. From Vrindavan, he went to Nepal. And when he went to Nepal, there is a river, Mandakini river. There is, Gand. It is called Kali Gandvi, right? Kali Gandvi river. He went there. And then he went there and he wanted to take bath. He took a pot and he wanted to pick up water in that pot to take bath. As soon as he kept the pot inside, 12 Shaligram Shilas came into that pot. Right? Then he looked at the Shilas. He said, why these are coming? He put them all back. And then again he put it inside to take water. Again, Shilas came inside. Then also he said, no, I just want water. He did put them again. And again, third time when he kept it inside, again the Shilas came inside. Then he felt that this Supreme Lord's plan. He wants me to worship them as Shaligram Shilas. And he counted them. There were 12. Damodar Shila, Narsingh Shila, there were different Shilas, 12 of them. Then he took them all to Vrindavan. He understood, okay, God wants me to worship in his form. But Shaligram Shila is in round form. It's round. And sometimes a little cuts based on the form it is. Like Narsingha. How many have seen Shaligram Shila here? You see? You'll see a little form on the Shaligram Shila. They are not carved. They're actually naturally coming. The Supreme Lord appears in different ways. I have seen a form of Narsingha Shaligram, where actually you can see the teeth. Inside you can see the tongue also. Inside, like that. I'd seen that. I was astonished. And even the Shaligram Shila of Markandeya Swami. Markandeya Muni. Markandeya Muni when? More than a billion years ago, Markandeya Muni was on this planet. He used to worship Shaligram Shila called Vatapatra Shai. That Shaligram Shila, a billion years ago, is right now there in Jagannath Puri. You've seen that? They keep it inside, they don't show it anybody. It's there in the house of, what is the priest of Mahaprabhu? Sarva Bhattacharya. In his house, there is a temple. In that temple, that Shaligram Shila is there. It's this big, Itna bada. And Krishna is sucking his, feet's thumb. Like, I don't know what you call it, toe. Yeah, he's sucking that. And that is there exactly in the form. And on the other side, it is like a leaf. On the other side, it is like this. It's a Shaligram Shila. Such a old one. That Brahma is to worship. After that, Brahma worshipped that Shaligram Shila. Just imagine. And it's right now there on the planet. So great is our Sanatan Dharma, and still the pleasure is there. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami got these 12 Shaligram Shilas, and he was so happy. And he started worshipping them day in and day out. And worshipping Shaligram Shila is not an ordinary thing. There's a whole paddhati and procedure. And he was worshipping them. And looking at his worship, one businessman was very happy. One merchant in Vrindavan. He came and he gave some dresses. Nice dresses he gave to Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And Gopal Bhatta, what will I do with the dresses? How can I wear these 2 hands and 2 legs to a Shaligram Shila? No, don't. I don't need this dress. You can go and give it to other Goswamis. They have Gopinath temple, Radha Govindev temple, Radha, what is it, Gokulananda temple. There are so many temples you can go and give. Why are you giving it to me? Madan Mohan temple you can give. But he said, no. We are very happy with your service. You have to keep these dresses. Just imagine, he's so much in love with God, but he don't know how to put those dresses on. And he has those dresses with him. It's a torture for his consciousness. Like, Krishna, what is this? You said such a beautiful dresses, and I can't even put them on you. Right? And he was so much perplexed. And then that night, he kept all the shaligrams to rest it's made of a wood, like wooden basket. He kept on a cloth and he kept them all and put them to rest. And then he went to take his bath, last bath of the day. And then he took rest. Next day morning, exactly 1 day before Narsimha Chaturdashi. When is Narsimha Chaturdashi coming? 15th. May 15th, Sunday. Exactly 1 day before. It's 14th May. How many years back? 511 years back. No, 511 is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visiting. 1534, something like that. 1542. Around that time. So he came in the morning and he lifted that cloth. And what did he see? The Damodar Shila, among all the 12 Shilas, the Damodar Shila turned into Krishna holding a flute. Like this. The Damodar Shila. Remaining 11 Shilas are there. And this one Shila turned into like this. Krishna holding a flute like this. And he was so much, astonished, and so much he was happy that he started jumping and shouting and crying and rolling, and everybody in Vrindavan got to know something special has happened. And when then the news went to Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, who were the prominent Goswamis, they both came and they looked at this form of the Supreme Lord, which has Swayam appeared to be served. So God is appearing to be served. Serve me. And they lifted that and they actually saw one other side of the Shila is Shaligram Shila, and this side is carved like Krishna. And they immediately named that form as Radha Raman. Shri Radha Raman Dev Ki. That became the appearance day of Radha Raman. If you're all there in the WhatsApp group, every morning I send a picture of Radha Raman. Little Radha Raman. Right? And the speciality of this deity is he has teeth also. How big is Radha Raman? This much. Around this much, you can say. Not very small. Not 12 inch probably. Watch what it. Very small. Shaligram Shila actually expanded. And he has teeth also. If you look at his mouth, this focus, you'll see teeth inside. And another thing, especially his fingernails also. His fingers, you see, nails also are there. And scientists, there are so many scientists who visited Vrindavan just to, keep a scientific edge to this story. And they were allowed to see investigate that Swayambhu avatar, and they declared that this is not carved. It cannot be carved. The carved thing can be found out, but this is not carved. And the beautiful murti is so beautiful. It's like carved only. If you look at it, it's like carved Krishna standing like that. Right? Even today morning, I think I sent. You can see. And the deity worship standards are so high. Right? So Radharamanji was started. It was the worship started by Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and it explained that Krishna in the spiritual world in Vrindavan, his eyes are like Radha Madan Mohan. When you go to Radha Madan Mohan temple, you look at Madan Mohan's eyes. That is exactly the way Krishna's eyes are in the spiritual world. Then you go to Gopinath temple, Radha Gopinath temple in Vrindavan, it is like Lord's chest. And you go to Govindev's temple, that is like his feet. So in a single day, if you have seen Madan Mohan, Gopinath and Govindev, you have seen entire Krishna. And all these three deities, they were transported to Jaipur Aurangzeb attacked Mathura. So the deities right now in Vrindavan are not the original ones. The original, they are replica of that, but the original ones are there in, with the Goswami worship there in Jaipur. So many devotees, when they go to Jaipur, they keep it a target that in a single day they have to see all the three. The single day I can see Krishna completely. I want to go to Madan Mohan temple, Gopinath temple, and Govindev temple. Nearby Jaipur, yeah. Very famous temples. And these 6 Goswamis, when those deities were there in Vrindavan, they looked at Radha Raman and they told, all the 3 are there in Radha Raman. So if you see the darshan of Radha Raman, that's equal to seeing Madan Mohan, Gopinath, and Govinda. All the 3 together. Sambandha Gyan, Abhideya Gyan, Prayojana Gyan. Right? Relationship with Krishna you'll understand from Madan Mohan. Devotional service you'll understand from Gopinath. And the conclusion, the goal of devotion, bhakti, you can understand by Govinda. And all the 3 can be understood by Radharaman. And he is even today being worshipped. And there is a Abhishekam that happens exactly now, before the Narsinga Chaturdashi, one day before, his appearance is celebrated. And the bhajans in Radha Raman temple are beyond your imagination. You can just go there. Sometimes don't go with anyone. Just go sit in Radha Raman temple and hear the bhajans. Beautiful bhajans. They'll keep singing. And Gopala Bhatta Goswami, in his dream, he was asked to go to Haridwar. Once he went to Haridwar. And when he went to Haridwar, he met a Brahman. Met a Brahman there. And the Brahman's son, who was like around 10 years old, his name is, I think his name is Gopinath. His name is Gopinath. Yeah. So he was very impressed with the devotion of Gopinath. And he told, when you grow up, you come to Vrindavan. And he actually came. And he became the Gopinath Pujari Goswami of Radha Raman. And the whole disciplinic succession that you see is of Gopinath Pujari Goswami. Even today, the same family is worshipping Radha Raman Dev. Right? So, and there are so many pastimes. Srila Prabhupada himself told that the deity worship standard of Radha Raman is the highest in entire Braj. And we in ISKCON society have to learn from Radha Raman's deity standards. You know, the way they worship, the way they take care. Actually, Radha Raman doesn't have Radha. But they created a Radha beside him. Because Krishna cannot be without Radharani. So they make a small dress, and then they keep a chhatri and they call it Radharani. Yes. And a very personal worship happens there. Very personal. You get a special khichdi in Radharaman. Not khichdi, what is it? Everywhere you look khichdi only. What is it? Other one, peda kind of sweet you get. Inside a small mud pot. The specialty of Radharaman. You get the little mud pot and that filled, stuffed rabdi. Yes, that you get. Right? In every pressure. And there is a fan on the top of the hall. Even now you pull it, the entire fan goes like this. It was there since many years. And it also sprinkles water. So during this time of the year when you go, they pull that fan, water is sprinkling on all the devotees to just maintain the cold atmosphere there. And Radha Ramanji is so happily standing there. Right. So Supreme Lord likes to be worshipped. And that is the reason in Bhagavad Gita he's telling that. Can you on the projector? Oh, it's gone. Screen is gone. It's okay. We read it. At the end he was saying, the one who worships me in devotion to my personal form is the best of the yogis. Right? So we are very fortunate, Prabhus and Matajis, that we are introduced to the highest level of worship of deities. Deities were there in all our houses. Unfortunately, those deities are replaced by Virat Kohlis and new inside the heart. Our favorites are no more Radha and Krishna. We have some other favorites. They have to be replaced by Radha and Krishna. And every house should have deities. Now they have beautiful deities here. And there is a deity worship standard. Of course, home deities are more merciful. They allow mistakes also. Doesn't mean we have a license to make mistakes, but they are very merciful. The least that you should do is you should have a certain time of Aarti. Certain range of time you should have. Not like 12 o'clock one day you'll do, 5 o'clock one day you'll do. No. And there is a Aarti Paddhati also. Right? Aarti Paddhati. And we will teach you that Aarti Paddhati. I've been telling for the last 5 years, we never taught. But there is a Aarti Paddhati. Right? And the Paddhati is given by Narada Muni himself in Narada Pancharatra. Taught by Naranarayan Rishi. Swayam Narayan taught to Narada Muni where? In Badrika Ashram. In 5 nights, the whole knowledge was given. That is why it's called Pancharatri. 5 nights. Right? Knowledge was given. And we worship. How do you worship? When the altar is opened, you'll see that you keep everything at a certain level. You don't consider everything as one. Right? We don't become impersonal. Even deity worship is very personal. You worship Guru. You ask permission from Guru. Then to Guru Parampara. Then to the Goswamis. Then you go up. It's not like I got Agarbatti directly on Krishna. No. Not directly on Krishna. First you go and ask the Guru. Gurudev, I am not qualified to worship Krishna. Can I worship? Hey great Acharyas, I am not qualified. Can I worship? Hey Goswamis, because of your mercy we received this knowledge. Can I worship? Then Panchatattva. Can I worship? Then Narsimdev. Can I worship? Then go up. Then Gaur Nitai. Can I worship Radha and Krishna? Or if you have Jagannath, can you worship Jagannath? Then you go to Jagannath. And then you start worshipping Jagannath by rotating the dhoop. Actually, agarbatti is not the right thing. We should have dhoop. We should have that made with cow dung dhoop. Agarbatti is not good for our health. The bamboo stick should not be burnt in the house. I'm telling this to myself. It produces poisonous gases. Not good for us. We should have dhoop on a plate. Keep the dhoop and light it. And dhoop batti should be given to the Lord. Tomorrow morning, everybody is doing dhoop shopping. But you should buy that dhoop. I think there is Arvind Prabhu. You have that, right? So everybody can contact Arvind Prabhu. You can supply to your home dhoop battis made of cow dung, right? Dhoop batti should offer how 7 times around the entire body, right? And after Jagannath, Baladev. Then after Baladev, Subhadra. After Subhadra, Sudarshan. After Sudarshan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shiv Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Nityananda Prabhu. Then come down. Then come down to avatars. Narsimdev, Lakshmi Devi. If you have Lakshmi in our altar, there is Lakshmi Narsimha and Prahlad. Then Prahlad Maharaj. Then Panchatattva. Then Guru Tattva. Then go to the Guru. Then ultimately come to Prabhupada. Then finally to the Guru who has initiated you. And say thank you. Then start Deepam. Dupam, then Deepam. Right? Take a Deepam. No, directly no Krishna. No Krishna. First who? Guru. Then Sampradaya. Then Goswamis. Then permission only. You're not related, just asking permission. Then you go up all the way to Jagannath. Then again Jagannath. How do you do? 4 times with the feet. 2 times with the belly. 3 times on the head. 7 times around the body. This is the Paddhati for Deepam. Then Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Sudarshan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Narsimha Devi, in our case, Narsimha Devi, Lakshmi Devi, and Prahlad Maharaj, 6 goes, Panchatattva. Then Tulsi also you keep. After the Panchatattva, before you come to Guru, you worship the Tulsi in the same way. Then after Deepam, what? Jalam, Argyam. Right? They have water in a conch shell. You keep it, and again the same way. You go all the way up asking permission, then 3 times on the head, 7 times around the body. 3 times on the head, 7 times around the body. Like that, you do all the way and come back. This is a perfect Paddhati I'm teaching you. Right? Maybe I'll write in the group, don't worry. Don't need to remember. I'll write in the group what has to be done. Right? Come all the way down. Then, after bath, क्या करते हो? Towel चाहिए ना? Cloth. Right? Vastram. It's not actually towel, you give clothes. Every day you don't change clothes in your home. Sometimes some devotees also do that. There is one Mataji in Pune, I forgot her name. Every Ekadashi she makes Chappan Bhog for Jagannath. Every Ekadashi. And she invites all the devotees just to have Prasad, Jagannath Prasad. Right? Herself she makes. That is her devotion. And every day she changes clothes. Every day. She gives Abhishekam and clothes every day to the Supreme Lord. So how many clothes Jagannath might have in the house? Just imagine. Right? So then you do the Vastram, same way, you take the Vastram all the way up, then 7 times around Vastram. Then after Vastram, what is next? Pushpam, flower. You take a flower, again 7 times. You go all the way up, Jagannath all the way down, 7 times. Then after that what? Chamara. Right? Then Chamara 3 times, you can do 3 times. And then finally the peacock feather fan. You do that 3 times and finally Kamshal done. That is your Aarti. This is as per Narada Pancharatra Vidhi. Right? Now this was followed in temples, this is followed in authentic temples. We can also do. If you do the whole thing, it might take around 20 to 25 minutes. In our house, it takes 25 minutes. I do it very slow. I do it very rarely. Too many things my wife does, my children do. When I do, I take at least 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Some of them take a little fast. You know, when my son does, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Krishna and he has separate dealing. Anyway, but you know, it has to be done. It has to be done with devotion. That's the whole point. And when we do the Aarti, we keep the flute back. When he is eating, we remove the flute because with flute, how can he eat? Right? Then he has to be made to sleep. When you are sleeping, you have to remove the flute. The whole night he will go holding it. Right? Whole night he'll be playing flute. We don't want that. We want him to rest. So there are so many things personal. Prabhuji worships in the temple actually. Sri Giraj Prabhu here. He goes, he is Brahman initiated. He actually goes onto the altar and he does. He can better speak about this than me. But there is so much personal thing about Jagannath, about all the deity worship. So God is worshipped personally. And that is the highest form of worship, the most favorite worship of the Supreme Lord. That's about the 12th chapter introduction about impersonal versus personal. And Arjuna's question was, what is better? And the answer was personal. Because Arjuna actually wanted it to be personal. Because he worships Krishna personal. Yes. Any questions? Or we'll end it here.
Rather than doing individual families, it's better to go with the devotees. Lilananda trip you were talking about. Just wanted to add. Going with devotees is the best option rather than individual family.
Yeah. We should go. That's the point. Best is with devotees, no doubt about it. Always do a yatra with devotees. I have always enjoyed my yatra with devotees. But sometimes just go. Just to organize, to call, to do this, and they keep shifting the date. Somebody will come and tell my daughter's English exam is there on that day. Then we change the entire plan. And finally, we booked our tickets to Mayapur. All glories to Corona. I think people donated to Indigo Airlines and 30,000-40,000 they donated. Here in India, the people donated. Right? So this is the problem also. But we should do joint yatras, no doubt. We will plan also. How we will plan? Me and my wife are going on me, my wife and children, we are going on a yatra on 20th. But it's more like a road trip. An unplanned road trip. We used to do that, right? It's 2.5 years we didn't do. So now we are just driving. Plan is to go till Varanasi, Gaya, Lucknow, what else? Namasharanya, yeah. Ayodhya. And then on the way back, Ujjain. Chitrakoot, वहाँ पे नहीं आता. Chitrakoot is a little far. Yeah. So just do the trip and come back to Nagpur by 29th. So we will not have next to next satsang. We will not be here. Hopefully we'll be back on Sunday evening direct into satsang. That is the plan. Yeah. Plan for next week. Hare Krishna. So plan for next week. We are doing Narshing Chaturdashi on that day, on Sunday. And I already booked the hall in my home Krishi. Hall is booked. Saturday we have not planned. Yeah, we are thinking, we are planning. I'll let you know. Yeah. Yeah. So evening, this same regular time. But come early by 5 o'clock. So we'll have nice Narshing Katha. I'll try to repeat some nice glories I heard from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu and few other Prabhus. I could collate it. So we'll try to hear about Narshing Dev that day. Fast until dusk if you can. Right? If you can, if your health is good. Fast without anything, without water also. Otherwise have water. Otherwise, have fruits. Otherwise, have fruit juice, not mango juice. Sense gratification nature using, right? Or if you are really not feeling well, you can have Ekadashi. Yeah. Narsingha Chaturdashi. No. It is Narsingha Trayodashi. No. Thursday is Ekadashi. Thursday is Ekadashi. Yeah. So try to fast. It's a good thing. Narsingha will appear. Yeah. So that is the plan. We'll have Pushpabhishekam of Shri Nrsimha. We have deities in our house, small deities. Keep everybody do Pushpabhishekam. And then we'll have Katha and Kirtan. Some of you have come, right, to the same hall, my own Krishna. Last time we had Ram Navami there. Yeah. We actually tried to book in Avatar also. Madhuri tried to book in Avatar, but the hall was already booked. So we booked it in Krishna. Yeah. So that is the plan for. So you can see the Supreme Lord here. Can you open the door? Can you see the 3 steps there? Yeah. And the way Gurus are kept, the way Goswamis are kept, the way there is a whole science behind that. Idea is I don't have access to Krishna until I get the mercy of devotees. That is the whole concept. That mercy of acharyas is needed to approach God. Okay. So any other questions, clarifications? Sorry? It's a personal worship. Yeah. There are. I'll end with this small one. My friend Yoga Lakshmi Narasimhan, he's a Tamilian, very close friend to me. Now he's also initiated devotee, and so his grandmother used to worship Krishna in Chennai, somewhere near Chennai. So every morning at 4 o'clock she would get up. Sorry, 3:30 she will get up, take bath, and make a fresh laddu for Laddu Gopal. And she would take that laddu, open the altar. Hare Krishna, children, can you sit down? I can't see Prabhuji. Yeah. Yeah. So every morning he used to tell me that every morning she used to make at 3:30, get up at 3:30, get ready by 4. Every morning, not a Sunday, not a Saturday, not a Monday, not a Ekadashi. Every single morning. Since her marriage, since her childhood, and she was still in her 80s. And every morning she would make a nice new laddu for Laddu Gopal, Krishna, and she would open the door and she would feed him the laddu and cry. Every morning she would cry. Not like want to cry. Tears would automatically flow, feeding Krishna. And my friend would watch as a small child, as a grandson, and they used to tease. Why are you crying every day? Why do you have to do this every day? Why do you get up like this every day? Why don't you go for a vacation? For her, no vacation. Her best time of the day is that morning time when she worships Krishna. So actually, deity worship is so personal in our sampradaya, in our country. Unfortunately, we are losing that as years and years go. When marriage happens, the girl side will give the groom, Shaligram Shila, should worship like that. So the deities were passed from generation to generation. Grandparents used to give to the parents, the next generation. So that is how personal everything was. But unfortunately, it has become very impersonal. Yeah. So we can revive it back. That is one of the amazing things about ISKCON temples is the deity worship. I don't know how many of you witnessed the Aarti in ISKCON. How many of you have seen? When the Aarti is done, all the 3 doors will open, conch shells will be blown, and then the Kirtan will start, and the whole Aarti. And this time you watch how they are doing the Agarbatti, how they are doing the Deepam, Jalam, Vastram, Pushpam, exactly as I told they'll do for every deity. It's all done on time. And His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada has established a society that any point of time during the day, Aarti is going on for God around the world. Even right now, there is a Mangalarti going on right in the other side of the earth, globe, right? In some temple. And everybody sings Sansara Dava Nalanida Loka Tranaya Karanya Gana Ganatvam Praptasya Kalyana Gurunarnavasya Vande Guru Shri Charana Vrinda. Same kirtan is going on 24 hours. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste भगवान की भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय ओम विष्णुपाद प्रभु प्रकाचार्य स्तोत्र दिवान देती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद प्रभु प्रकाचार्य स्तोत्र दिवान भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से बोलो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुर धाम की जय, पुण्य क्षेत्र वृंदावन धाम की जय, गंगे माई की जय, यमुने माई की जय, भक्ति देव की जय, कलियुग पावन तुलसी महारानी की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, ट्रांसजेंडर बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय, ट्रांसजेंडर प्रसारण डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। विताई गौर हरि प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।